Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, I think we're live. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bunkai's Corner. Uh, I'm your host, Bunkei, and I got Jim on here. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing very well.
And
We should start with this, Punk.
huh?
I posted in the aphorism suggestions channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There is one thing I want to get to first. Um, I am really, really in a great mood right now. I'm on cloud nine. So everyone knows that I am a huge Vanessa Mae fan because she's the reason why I play the violin. And if you don't know who Vanessa Mae is, if you're listening to this podcast, just Google her. You'll probably find my site. Anyway, long story short, I am the only active. Um, my site is the only active one for her. Her even her own management company does not keep her site up to date. And so
That's really shitty.
yeah, she does not. She admits that she does not go online at all. She does not do. She's a very private person. She does not do Twitter. She does not do Facebook and Instagram. None of that. She's hardly ever online. And she's always been a very private person. So for years, on a site ran by a another fan, which was VanessaMay.org. She will write questions, and we will write questions to her, and she will answer them every year. We've been doing this since 2003. Um, this last year, we submitted some questions for her, and we didn't get an answer. Now, she normally takes months to answer anyway, so we weren't really concerned at the beginning, but um, so after about I don't know 6 months, I wrote to her manager, and her manager didn't respond. So I was like, oh well, I guess she never got the questions. Well, lo and behold, today I get an email from her new manager, and thanking me for the questions and apologizing that we didn't get back to it sooner. And she has answered 5 questions that I submitted last year to her, and I just posted those on my site. So I'm pretty happy. And he's like, well, I'm going to be her new manager going forward. So you know, uh, look for some stuff coming from me soon. I'm like, great. So now I have a conduit to her. Once again. So like I said, right now I'm on cloud nine. Finally, she answered some questions that I have for her, and unfortunately, most of the questions, except for one, all the questions were for me by me. Um, she has fans all over the world, but she has not released a new album in like 13 years. Like 2005 was the last time she released a new album, and she only does like a couple of concerts a year, and she doesn't need to do it. I mean, she is at one time she was the richest woman in the United Kingdom under the age of 30. um she certainly does not need the money. So so it's not like she had to, like nowadays people, artists have to really scrap to make
Yeah.
to make ends meet, but she's not one of those artists. She has more money than she can ever possibly ever need. um but she's also has a big she has a big thing for skiing. She's was trying to qualify for the Olympics, and she fell and dislocated her shoulder twice. And she kind of elaborated that on when she answered the question. She elaborated on that, and she even performed with a dislocated shoulder on 2 shows she did in Russia last year. I don't know how she was able to do that. I don't. I honestly, can you really think about someone who has a dislocated, and it's her bow shoulder that she uses for the bow? I don't know how the hell she was able to do that. because I can only imagine that must have been exhausting and pretty painful.
Painful. Yeah.
And so, but anyway, yeah. So that's it for that part of it. But I'm pretty happy now, and it's good to know now. So now we're gonna work on five more questions because I like to do four or five questions. One of the most interesting questions I asked her, this is the world's most famous violinist and the highest amount of records sold by a violinist. And I asked her what her practice regimen was like. This is someone who was a child prodigy who turned professional when she was like 10 or 11, etc. And her answer quite literally knocked me out of my chair. And so, and just so I don't, um, let me just read you verbatim what her answer was, because I asked her, I said, I asked her, it's like, what is your, do you follow a strict practice regimen? And if so, what kind of music do you play to keep yourself in shape? Her answer kind of blew my mind. She says, strangely, discipline was not indoctrinated into me when I was a child. I was often left to my own devices to manage my practice schedule. I often did the minimum, yet somehow made the targets that were set for me. I had no set routine, so I never had a strict bedtime either. Funnily, I have never heard of a classical soloist play a work for the first time with orchestra at the actual recording, but this is exactly what I did when I was 13 for the Beethoven Violin Concerto. Wow. um, this is great because she's very quiet. She's very she does not hide back, even though she's very private. With her answers, she's very straightforward with her answers. Basically, she's like, I I was not much. I mean, she didn't. Well, actually, let me not misinterpret that. She didn't say she didn't practice. She just said it was just not strict, and she was pretty much. She just did the minimum, but yet that was enough. Wow. So that kind of blew my mind.
That,
Because that's completely against what I preconceived as what her practice schedule was like. I imagine her just sitting there, 8 hours a day, just playing scales and etudes and pregios and such, and that's not how it was. Interesting. Actually,
that's not surprising to me.
huh?
That's not surprising to me. The
Is
best classical pianist I've ever met, and I've met many, was the same way. And he just wasn't disciplined like that at all. He's just a complete prodigy and a complete natural. So I hear that, and I know that going into it, you would assume she would have worked so much harder than everybody else. When you're that good, it's natural. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I've seen it in a few instruments. It's nuts.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, Jim. She did a documentary back in 2008. She did a documentary called "The Making of Me," and she talks about that. She did because to focus the purpose of the documentary was to, a musician. Is it um is it all about talent, or is it about practice? And because she was just say that because when she was growing up, she didn't start taking the violin seriously until about 8 years old or so. But she started on the violin when she was 5, and she said even up until 8 years old, she was, again, she said she was left to her own devices, and it was still just a bit of a hobby. And so she's like, and her parents weren't not taking a particular interest in it. And so she said it was nature versus nurture. That's that was what they described it as. And she said it was 75% nature because they didn't really, there was no, it wasn't that serious yet. But although she showed a strong predilection for the violin, um, but then she did, and then but they're bringing various doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists to interview her to get a psychological makeup of what made her who she is. And Um, and that was a great insight into her, and it was a great um it was just a great documentary overall because she came fairly emotional. She's not that emotional of a person as her personality is, but she was very emotional because her mother was a driving force behind her career. Um, but it got it went overboard. And she remembers she would count times like when she was on her way to um to the hairstylist to get her hair cut for a new album, and she was like she was crying because this is the first time she had her hair cut, and her mom was like, well, don't worry about it, you need to, if you die, at least people will see you, see how beautiful you are, and etc. And she was like, well, who cares? I mean, I'm dead. And her mom was just, she was not allowed to date. I mean, this is even after she reached adulthood. She was not allowed to date or go out anyway. It was, and so on her 21st birthday, by the way, today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Vanessa May. But um, on Eva's 21st birthday, she fired her mother as her manager. And since then, they have not met up. So that was, she says she's 40 now. So that was 19
Ooh.
years ago. And they have spoken maybe a handful of times. And so she's very, she regrets that her relationship with her mother went from one extreme, too involved, to not involved at all. And I even think this had an effect on her career because they were very good at collaborating together. A lot of her music, she collaborated with her mother. Um, and she admits to that she's, they work really well together. It's just that it's just they couldn't find a balance with their relationship, and that's it. And even 19 years later, nothing has really changed. And so yeah, so that's a little bit sad, and I'm hoping that eventually um they will mend some fences. That's a long time not to have a parent involved or have your
Especially
child.
if they're alive, yeah, because
Yeah,
you'll regret that so hard if you can't have them anymore.
yeah, and I think that in that documentary she made, it was an olive branch. She tried to say, try to extend an olive branch, and her mother was not having it, and sent a letter that basically said, "Thanks, but no thanks." It's done. It's over.
Jesus.
And yeah, it's sad. It really is sad because on a personal level for her, but even on a professional
Professional.
level, it's also not good either because they were so good at collaborating together. And there are videos of them, back when she was just 7, 8 years old. Is her on violin and her mom on piano. Her mom is a classically trained pianist, and I think that this is something that I actually think about quite often. That it seems that when um, a child achieves uh, recognition, worldwide recognition for a particular work, whether they're an actor or a a um, musician, or an athlete, etc. If the parent was in the same field, normally it's like for some reason the relationship just gets strained because I think the parent tries to live their dream through their child. They didn't hit it, but so they're like next best thing is, well, if I can't hit my dreams, I'm gonna make my child hit my dreams. So I think that that's what probably was happening here. I think that she was trying to live her dreams through her daughter, and her daughter basically said, "Hey, this is my life, and you're being too controlling." And so, all right, so but that's pretty much it for that one. But yeah, so
Oh,
hopefully,
that's cool, man. That's good for you too. To hear back finally.
um, yeah, yeah, and let's see here. So let me get to My daughter is a racist against her own race. Now,
Oh God.
okay,
Oh God.
Jim,
It's exactly what you think it is.
Jim, I can hear that clicking.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I'm like, oh my
Let
god.
me tell you before we get into that. Let me tell you, for every single program that I have, because I just reformatted my hard drive, and now Apple is asking me for my keychain for every single one and every single plugin. I have like 4,000 plugins,
Oh my god.
so and I can't just X out of it. All right, anyway, fucking
Now,
Apple.
but but now we talked about this before, but yes, my uncle, who's I think I guys I mentioned it to you. He's a physician. He started his own practice. And he was at least he is or was a millionaire. He used to brag about that once in an argument. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how he got his money to start his own practice? It was he had a lawsuit against McDonald's for racial discrimination, and it was a black person that was the employee.
What?
Yeah,
You never talk. How have we talked about politics and crazy shit for all these years, and I never knew that?
yeah. I mean, my uncle is not the most savory a person. I have my issues with him. But yeah, that's how. And yeah, I mean, it is. I have seen racist black people all the time. I have seen, just like I've seen um black men and women come in, especially who, for whatever reason, they don't want to deal with me. They just rather deal with the manager. My manager's white, and but and most of the time it backfires because she's like, "Well, let me introduce you to my specialist, Ben," and then bring over to me. Yeah,
And
so
they're like, "Oh fuck."
yeah, and you can and I see their eyes roll. I'm like, "Yep, yep, yep, yep." So I mean, and the thing about it, we talk about racial bias. That racial bias can affect that can and does affect everyone regardless of their skin color. And yes, you could be racially biased against people of the same skin color that you are.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
true.
so it's not surprising at all. And I experienced this firsthand. And yes, it's ridiculous, and it's obviously there's a strange irony at work here, but it's it's hardly new.
Why didn't
um,
you speak up when EPS was talking about systematic racism?
I'm sorry, you broke up there. Speak about what?
Oh, systematic racism. Like it's programmed only by because of their power equals privilege.
Well, I mean, I think that when you're talking about well, are you talking about systematic racism, as in like dealing with the court system and
Oh
um,
no, this in general. I mean, like EPSA's talking about how it's like ingrained in all society, and it's like if you just go out inside and you get pulled over.
but okay, and let me speak to that because he's right in that is and does happen. I mean, I'm one
Yeah,
of those
but in both
people.
ways. But I said it both ways. He says only with blacks. I mean, like
Oh,
if you go into a place with a lot of black cops and you're gonna arrest, they're gonna pull over a white person, they're gonna treat them like shit.
and this is the
They're
problem.
gonna treat the black person more like shit. Actually, it
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
more like
battle.
people
Yeah,
that.
It goes both ways. I'm saying
yeah, yeah.
it depends on where you are.
In a way, it's even worse for black people because even if they get pulled over by a black cop, that is no certainty that they be treated any better than a white cop. In fact, there's what was the name of that old black movie? Not Menace to Society. Oh, what was that black movie? Because there's a scene in it where where it's Ice Cube and oh man,
Oh, you talk about Friday?
no, no, not the comedy. No, this is damn it. No, someone look that up for me. It's a very famous movie. Um, I mean, the guy gets. I mean, the most famous scene is the guy that was running for his life and got shot in the back down the alley. That's the famous scene from it. Oh man, I'm getting old. I can't think of it. But there's a scene um, where they get pulled over by. It was two cops. One was white and one was black. But it was the black cop that was interacting with them. And sure enough, the black cop was just as he was just mean and vicious as the white cop would be in his place. And
Oh, that
yeah,
would that be considered systematic racism if he was a black cop pulling over black people?
yeah. I mean, it is racism because there's no rule that says that you can't be racist against people of your same color as you are.
But Ep said it had to do with color, not the actual person.
Well, it has something. It must have to do something with color because, um,
Well, I mean, it goes by the person and it has both. I mean, you get to say the system and the like everything. It's like a combination of everything, but he just breaks it down into one thing.
well, no, I mean that's being simplistic. There's definitely more than one thing going on, and you can't paint a broad brush and says it's all due to just this one thing. Um,
I agree.
there's definitely
I think the problem is that we're using EPS as any sort of measuring stick for anything.
Oh yeah,
that's fucking retarded. That is fucking retarded. That guy is a racist piece of shit. He is. Fuck that guy.
um, but as I said,
no, I was just wondering why Bunk never mentioned this when I was talking to Seth
I
with
think
that.
he was
what I
on
was wondering about.
IRC during those times, and I probably shut up Eps each time I wanted to. So I mean, so yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, no,
I'm just saying.
Epps would just. I don't know. I don't even think it's worth paying him mind,
Yeah.
honestly, because anyone that was there, obviously the three of us were there. Or the four of us rather. We know what kind of person he is. We know how he plays his political bullshit and cards and just whatever. I just think he's a poor example to use when it comes to productive discussion.
But you have to understand that at the end of the day, hate does not have a color, and some people can use. And the thing about it is, some people disguise their own hate with another kind of hate, and I see this all the time, particularly with black people. I mean, I see them just like the whole situation with the Kavanaugh situation, where um, some people make can well I should rephrase this carefully because it's never been proven that he didn't do it, but let's say he didn't do it. But of course, um this can serve to discredit people who actually have been and had this happen to them. And for example, with black people, a lot of black people will use um the systematic racism, etc., as an excuse for whatever they're doing. It's out there and it's present. It's stupid to say it's not. And it says, but there are black people um that that do not use that as an excuse and can still make a life for themselves. Now, is it
Well,
is
speaking of
it
Kavanaugh, you really have to watch this one. Glenn, Glenn and John, they were back and forth about. Yo, Glenn ran on like one of his biggest rants ever.
He was pissed. He was so mad. It was really good.
Was he so mad? What was he mad at?
He was his argument was this accusation never should have been brought up at all. Well, he gets into why it's kind of complex. I can't really. say why, but
Oh yeah.
his argument was it should have bought him. It was fucking 35 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And then John, a lot of the argument against Kavanaugh isn't that if he did it or not, is that he was lying. They say he was obviously lying on the stand, saying he was like downplaying a lot of the drunkenness or whatever. He was kind of weird or whatever. So people's
But
argument against Kavanaugh is that he was lying so much that so that it should
but you
disqualify
know,
him as a candidate.
and that's actually a poor argument. Even if he is lying about how what he was doing, how much drinking he was doing in college, and etc., that doesn't make him a rapist.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
could he be lying to cover up what he actually did? Yeah, I mean, but there's no way to be certain. But lying about how much you drink, well, I think most people will probably lie about how much, if they were asked point
Yeah.
blank, how much they were drinking
Yeah.
in high school and college.
no, I would tell the truth. I drank too much.
I mean, well, I can tell the truth. But yeah,
I mean, I drink a lot, but I've never been blackout drunk. I mean, it depends on the person.
Oh, I have. But regardless, like anybody that's just like, oh, I never like did, or not even that, because some people really didn't ever mess with alcohol or drugs or anything, whatever. That's cool. That's each person's different. But like, if you're going to assume that we're going to go back and look at everything that people did in high school and college with a fucking fine tooth comb,
yeah.
like, especially when it comes to getting fucked up and going to parties and doing like whatever, how can you cast stones on that shit? And if you're gonna cast stones on that shit, you better have legitimate evidence, not hearsay, and not some fucking friends who won't even corroborate your bullshit because they don't believe it and they don't want to fucking ruin this guy's life over something that they may or may not have been at. It's just so fucking desperate. It's so fucking desperate. I didn't believe it. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, it's on one hand, it's something that Jim said. It's a fucked up situation all around. It's fucked up because even if she is telling the truth, it it's going to be politicized where she's going to be discredited because of the timing. And I think that that's the and so whether she's telling the truth or not is almost unfortunately it's almost besides the point.
I know, that's why they did it.
You know, and it. The only thing I can say about the Kavanaugh thing is that although this is not an apples to apples comparison, but I remember reading an article that he wrote about he did rip into Clinton for his extramarital affairs, and I was like, okay. I was like, okay, fine. You want to hold yourself up here, okay.
I mean, you can't just look at Brett. I mean, you have to look at her too because they erased everything she had on that she did in her past off the internet, like Twitter, everything. They completely erased everything. And
that's not even the damning evidence. The damning evidence is where she teaches. She teaches at Palo Alto in California. I didn't know that until later. That is well known in California. That fucking school is 80% or something like that, really close female. And the shit they teach you about manipulation and creating scenarios like this and feminist power and taking down men, like that is, it's, once I read that, I was like, oh, this all makes so much sense. I'm like, okay, I get it. Never mind. I'm done. This woman is a fucking liar. This is all set up.
Oh, no one brings up how she looked during the testimonies. They only bring up like, oh my God, Kavanaugh was.
Yeah, she put on the best act ever. She looked like this disheveled woman, and if she wasn't a teacher in fucking telling people and how to manipulate and how to create situations in your head so that you even believe they're true yourself, like this woman is a fucking psychopath. She's a fucking psychopath. She tried to do this. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
What is her doctorate in? Does anyone know?
Who knows? Probably gender studies.
I mean, seriously, I mean, because I want to know
I
based
don't
on
even
what
mean
you.
that like a douchebag. Like I don't
It was
know.
in I think
She was
it
like,
was in Psycho. It was like something Psycho where you like some kind of it's well she wasn't even a doctor anyway. It was more like she just had a degree. She just had a degree in like some psychology, and then she wasn't even considered a doctor.
I think it was like it was in the area of like psychoanal,
Oh, interesting.
whatever
I
some
mean,
shit.
no, because I mean that could
I heard s-
definitely,
I heard someone make
yeah,
an argument like
and I guess
she was lying that she didn't know how to tell I what was it? Something about
You mean that one test?
like someone went through her education background and they were saying like she probably knew how to manipulate like lie detection shit like that, like and to
Def.
manipulate all that fucking stuff.
Well, she
Yeah.
told her friend how to bypass the lie detector,
Yeah,
and that's what she did.
That whole situation sucks. So stupid. So stupid. And then that brings us to Bunkei. The next thing about the bombs this week. What do you think about that?
I have honestly I haven't followed it. I only heard bits and pieces of it. Bombs sent to various Democrats, and and only thing I've heard about it was some news outlets said that they weren't actual bombs, and so but I didn't dig any further than that.
Well, yeah, the one expert even on CNN said it, and that's how you know it's bad. He said he described the four parts of the bomb, and he's just like, this wasn't a bomb. And then they kind of scuffed over him and went to something else. And then the other thing that was interesting is they said that they confirmed it went through, all of them went through the post office themselves, but all there was stamps. There was no actual postage marks. There was no handling. There was no nothing, which would be on any single envelope. It was just a brown envelope. If you've ever gotten a package, and we all have, we know that it's not just a stamp. There's an actual postage mark that goes on to everything. None of them had them.
So is this all fabricated to generate sympathy for the
It's,
Democrats?
and you don't think it happens right before the election for a
Okay.
reason?
The plot
Not
thickens.
I don't
even
know, man. Like I'm cynical as fuck. Like I'm cynical as fuck. I don't care. I don't trust them. I don't trust any of these fucking people.
Right.
It's just so fucking convenient.
That's
And
why.
none of the bombs go off. You're gonna send off how many bombs, and none of them go off, and nothing bad happens, and no one was actually in danger. It just creates a very convenient talking point. Like bullshit, dude. Bullshit. I don't know.
They spent days talking about this over the caravan. Days.
Yeah, I don't know. What if it was just a fucking? The guy had like 87 priors, but how easy is it to just find a guy off the street and manipulate him, offer him something, like a back end deal, and then be like, oh, you're just gonna take the fall for this, or da 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 da, and we'll give you this later. And the guy's clearly crazy. He had like I think
In
it
other
was
word, in
15
other
or
words,
20
he's
priors.
in other words, he's the perfect scapegoat.
Exactly.
Actually, it is a little bit too perfect
Yeah.
That's the point.
because
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't buy it, dude. I don't
it,
buy it. I'm sorry.
it would
You
be
should have saw his van.
yeah, because I mean, the thing about it though is that if they really want to make it believable, they may want to choose someone with no priors as opposed to 82 priors. It's in other
Yeah.
words, it just seems like it's a little bit convenient.
And one of his priors was tampering with evidence
Mm. Wow.
and drug charges, and yeah, it was. I don't know.
Bomb threats.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't pay too much heed to this. I think it was just very, very good timing.
have you heard of the anthrax story back after 9/11? Bunk?
I remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember what happened with that?
I'm sorry. What?
You didn't really follow after the attacks, right?
I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah.
I
So
remember reading, I don't know, hearing about it through the news at that point, but um,
so So apparently, I can't remember all the facts, but like they they s- they s- they found one person, one scientist working at one of those CDC labs, saying this guy was the one setting out the anthrax packages all around the country, and then so this guy was in court saying he didn't do it. He was arguing that these packages could have only been sent from like a government facility for like
But you know,
5 years or some shit like that. And
but
he
you,
and
but
then
you,
if they,
look,
he finally found enough evidence to say he didn't do it. And then after that, they ended up charging a scientist that was helping them on the investigation, saying he was the one who did it.
but do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a 9/11 documentary called Loose Change, and it was somewhat a little bit similar. And there were various engineers who said that
That
the
Duchenne was fucking stupid though.
huh.
Duchenne was stupid. One of the dumbest 9/11
But
truth
one of the
documentaries.
things now, I mean, unless someone has found something, one of the things I found interesting was that the people that there were various people that went on record that said that the towers could not have collapsed the way they did, without some sort of explosives placed, because the fact of the matter is that the towers were constructed in the 70s with the idea that it could be, a plane could be flown into it. That actually was something was considered during its development, and that the way that it collapsed, it could not have been from the plane, which I actually agree with. I think that when I look at it, I don't see how the plane running into where it ran into the building. I can't see how why that would cause the entire building to collapse. Plus, with my own ears, I've heard, one firefighter say there are bombs in the building. Now that part was never re-aired, but I heard that with my own two ears. But I'm not. I'm just not surprised. I mean, none of this stuff really surprises me
I
anymore.
actually uploaded Loose Chains like back in the day. It had like 2 million views until like last year until they took it down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
thing is pretty much evidence that government has done it themselves and they just put it on someone else. So I mean,
I mean,
I'm
anyway.
not
So
saying this was a false flag. I think it's pretty likely this guy was crazy, but I mean,
Yeah.
right,
you can't really
but
put
that
it
doesn't mean he
past
had anything to
the
do with it,
government.
right? So it's one of those things where, I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's too convenient, and
Right.
he apparently they said it was sent to the mail, and if even if they didn't send it to the mail, how would he get to all those places in a van from Florida?
Yeah. By
He
the way,
wouldn't.
yeah. I mean, it's just
And at the same time,
on, going back to 9/11. It just, when the planes were rerouted, when they were going off course, it was just happened that there was a drill that day. And so, it goes, if you were to go off course, just like actually, there was a plane stolen here in Washington State, and the F-18s were right there. But it just happened that on 9/11, they were running a,
I
you
don't
know
know about the building, the twin towers themselves, but building 7 and building 6, two buildings that were not hit by the planes and they blew up
yeah, and they blew up.
and
Yeah.
collapsed.
I mean, it's obvious. It is obvious that, that there's some bullshit going on here. And I mean, and
Also,
all,
the fucking that story of the dad or the planes, the one that crashed in the field in Pennsylvania, just
right.
saying they attacked the hijackers, and they said they called their family or some shit. That shit was absolutely fucking
Right,
bullshit.
right, right. I
You
love
could have
that one. I
called
remember
anybody
that one.
fucking on
So
9/11.
there was
Goddamn
one where
serious.
I
You're
feel
gonna
like,
call someone
yeah,
from the
you
fucking
from
plane
30,000 feet in the air. You're
in
gonna make a phone
2001.
call in 2001, which wouldn't be possible in 2018 either. I mean, it's like okay, you know. By the way, I think the most damning evidence of it all on the 9/11 thing is that so Boeing, of course, these were Boeing planes, right? Boeing actually built a override system into those planes where if they wanted to override, they could have, and yet they didn't. Actually, and which that was one of my questions was I'm like, wouldn't hijacking a plane that seems like to be a fairly recognizable scenario that you will prepare for, and yep, those planes actually have a mechanism where you can override the pilot, but it was never implemented. Yeah, so no, not implemented. It was never used. I should say.
I
All right,
heard some
what else you
stupid.
guys got for me?
I agree. I always agreed that 9/11 looked suspicious, but I mean, a lot of them look suspicious.
They
Like
all
the
look
news,
because it
like
makes you wonder and it makes you cynical and paranoid. That every time you hear about some type of I don't know national incident, you think did this really happen, or is this a clever ploy by the government to achieve a goal that we can't see right now?
Yeah. And
well, I
that's why
mean, right?
think about the Bernie Sanders supporter actually shot Republicans on a baseball field during
Yep.
a baseball game that they were doing. Like that actually fucking happened. It wasn't like some this could have been violent or this was a threat. This is a fucking Bernie Sanders supporter that shot people and Scalise and them like that lasted in the news for how long? Like a day? Nobody
Right.
cared because they were
Maybe.
Republican.
Right. Right.
It's nuts. And it's funny because even like Mr. Matt, you'll appreciate this. I actually listened to Ari talk to Joe,
Oh
and
yeah.
because I saw the clip about how they were talking about Alex Jones and what is censorship and what is this, that, and the other. And Joe he got to a good point, and Joe's definitely a lefty, but he was like, "Well, you have to think every major media thing minus Fox News is super left. Every
Yeah.
major technology corporation that actually has control is super left. It's like, so of course it's going to be easier to manipulate news and, push whatever they do want to push, whether it's right or wrong. They have so much control, and that's really fucking scary.
It
That's what I've been
wasn't.
saying, Jim.
And wasn't one of the cops that were intervened was a female minority,
Yes.
and that kind of like got
Thrown under the bus because it doesn't fit the narrative.
yeah. I was gonna say
Oh, in
yeah,
the
that
baseball
kind of
field?
like there was like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
footnote.
Yeah, just like, oh, by the way, she was black, but we'll march for her tomorrow. We're just not going to name her or acknowledge that it was her. Okay, yeah.
My
I don't
argument
know.
during the
But
fucking elections was that they're saying Russians helped out Trump by making fake Facebook blog bots and shit on social media, saying that was the reason. And I was like, every goddamn media entity was pro Hillary. Everything, everyone was pro Hillary,
Don't you got what do you
and
guys?
yet
Can I
those
ask
are
you a question?
bots.
Can I ask you a question?
Like, there's no evidence of fucking hacking. Like,
What do you guys think of this concerted effort to just? There's a concerted effort, obviously, to stoke paranoia. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's not new.
I mean,
I
it's
think
not new.
I think it's just now we have more access to more information and more independent people to do the correct research, or even half-assed research is more than what we're getting from the majority of the major networks, no matter who you look at. Because even if Fox is like, oh well, what's going to work for us? Let's push that. And then CNN, what's going to work for us? Let's push that. Like you can't take any of them as like pure truths. They're all fucking bullshit on their own thing, and that's fine. But it didn't used to be that way because we didn't always have the internet. We had the newspapers, we had word of mouth, and we had cable news. That's it. So now when things are getting exposed and shit, and people are taking pictures of like when they're like faking shit for filming on TV, and they clearly have evidence of them doing shady shit, no matter who it is, and it's just all set up and rigged, then people start to say, "Oh, they wouldn't lie to us. They've been lying to us this whole time. This is crazy. This would never happen." Just to exaggerate their points. That's all. It's technology has made it so that it's easier to be more skeptical because there's more evidence.
Well, not just that. It's just everything the media says is like not always truth. It's just opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Denzel Washington. Remember how he kind of he set that reporter straight. He's like, if you,
Oh, that was so good. They tried to play him.
yeah, I mean, I love it. He's like, if you read, he's like, if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed, and if you read the newspaper, you're misinformed. Now it's not about who's right; it's like who's first. I'm like, oh my gosh, he schooled. He schooled that reporter. That was really great. That was really
Yeah,
great.
he is a god.
And yeah, and and it's interesting though because that type of stuff would never get played on the news channel or anything like that. And it's sad because I admire to a point. I admire Denzel Washington only because this is someone who really holds himself to a standard. You haven't heard no tabloids on him. He's been married to the same woman for most of his adult life. They have like three children. I mean, they don't. He don't. It's not. It's just he don't play that. And but okay, but oh
Yeah.
I think that so earlier this week there was a patch dropped for Street Fighter Five, and it did as advertised. It did lower the impact of the it lowered the
Input.
input. I'm sorry, input delay. I have to say that over the past almost year, I've been impressed. I mean, regardless of how you feel about the game, but this year, in the last, I don't know, in the last 11 months, they actually have done a good job, and it shows that someone has a clear cut vision on how to move the game, to move the franchise forward. They didn't try to hide the DLC characters only to be leaked out 2 months later. It. I mean, they like, okay, here's the characters we're going to be introducing, and and they did that, and all the characters came on time, and in fact, two characters came close sooner than anybody thought that they would. The two final characters. Um, so somebody there is taking the reins and is doing a really good job. Um, from where Street Fighter was a year ago till now, and now if they can just manage to fix the loading times and fix the netcode, you might actually generate some goodwill about the franchise, which they need.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
No, I mean, well, I'm talking about the franchise. I'm not talking about Street Fighter. Yeah, I'm not talking about really Street Fighter Five, but they need to generate goodwill for the franchise as they're, as the sun starts to set on Street Fighter Five, and then it's on to the next title. So, um, actually, to be honest with you, I am actually more interested to see what they do with Marvel than I am with Street Fighter.
I think we got a long time to wait.
We do. It's at least 2 years out.
Yeah.
And but I can't believe that Combo Fiend working for Marvel is does not have anything to do with this. I
Wait, Combo Fiend even still working from the?
Yeah, he works for Marvel, dude.
He doesn't work for Capcom anymore. He works for Marvel.
Oh, he moved them to Marvel?
I don't know. Moved him. He quit Capcom. And started.
Okay. I'm not up to date. I'm up to date on this. So Marvel probably gave him more reins.
Maybe. I because it's interesting because I say the Marvel is an interesting game because it has the inverse problem of Street Fighter Five. in the sense that people talking well about the graphics and everything. I mean, there was some graphics, mainly about Ken's face and everything, but generally speaking, Street Fighter Five looks fine, for its time. But as opposed to Marvel, looked like it was a PlayStation 2 game. I mean, there's a famous meme of like the first Tekken, the first Tekken character,
No,
and there's
no,
Dante's
it was
face.
Tekken 2. Tekken
What
2.
was it, Tekken
Yeah.
Tekken 2? With Dante's face and Chun's face, and it looks so. It goes together so well. I mean, yeah, and
I
but
think it's perfect.
yeah, it's perfect. But it's interesting that that game, and it's I should say this, it has the opposite problem of Marvel 3. Marvel 3 presentation was a 10. I love the presentation of Marvel 3. The gameplay was absolutely shit.
It's not a good game.
The S factor completely ruined that game. And even though they lowered it in between Marvel and Ultimate Marvel and everything, it still was just one mistake, you lose your entire team. And it was just but in this game, it actually, unlike previous Marvel games, the gameplay for Marvel Infinite was actually a strong point and has the best net play out of any recent Capcom game. That also blows my mind a bit. But anyway, well, like I said, I'm now we're going into um now we get to see what's going to be announced for season 4. So a lot of people think Xkira, and to Xkira's credit, a lot of the stuff he said over a year and a half, actually 2 years ago, actually is starting to come out true. I mean, the dojo and some of the things that he talked about a year and a half ago actually pan out to be true. So it looks like Rose is coming to Street Fighter Five next year, according to him, and which is
What?
which is not a bad, which is not really that surprising. Rose is incredibly popular
Mhm.
as a character, and Manat really, unlike Manat, really plays nothing like Rose at all.
Which is good.
Which is good. So, and it doesn't mean, and so there's no reason why Rose can't be added to the game because she's a completely different character. And so see that now Q, that's a harder thing to argue for because G is Q. I mean, he has the same normals as Q, but still a different enough character. It's basically they kind of reimagine what Q would look like if he wasn't a robot or
And
whatever he
people
is.
been playing. I haven't watched any five at all.
Yeah, they still have their. Isn't there a tournament this weekend?
Yeah, it's Canada Cup. This is the last premiere.
Jesus Christ. We've
Yeah.
gotten old, and the games have gotten bad because we have not even addressed the fact that that is a major tournament going on.
Right,
Wait,
yeah.
we're talking about Street Fighter, and we don't even remember what the next tournament is.
I know.
It's
We're
a
old. I
far-
mean,
It's sad. I want to like Street Fighter. That's the worst part. I want to like it. It's just not good.
but
I don't like this game. It sucks.
But you know what? I think that. But just going back to what I was saying before, I like the direction that the franchise is heading because
Yeah.
because they're listening to their fans. So hopefully that will carry over to the next Street Fighter. Because it's just like me and Jim talked about before. I really don't think um, changing the game, like changing the core of the game, is going to help any because the people that stop playing it are not coming back, and all you do is to piss off the people that are still playing the game. So just fix what you know that needs to be fixed, and and just let that carry you, let that goodwill carry you into the next title.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and so
Sometimes adding new things is not always the best thing if it's not going to work properly in the system.
Yeah, well, not even just that point. Like, they're so deep into the game's lifespan that there's no point. Like, just focus that onto the next game in the franchise, Street Fighter 6, and go from
Oh
there.
yeah, making a solid game. That's all I need to do. Make a solid game.
but and, I
If
mean,
only it
but
was that easy.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly it. Because as much
Well, I mean,
as
go back to the basics. That's
I
all I
mean,
need
but
to
you know
do.
what?
Yeah.
But you know what? In a way, especially for a franchise like Street Fighter, you can't win. I don't care who you get as the developer for Street Fighter. You're gonna face some hate. on some serious hate. No matter
Look
what
at
you do.
Street Fighter 4.
I mean, because if you go back to basics, people will say the game is dumb. The people say you're just treading on old water, resting on your laurels. You're not doing anything new. Then when you try out something new, it's broken. What the hell was you thinking? Just do the basics, and you realize that no matter what you try, it's people are going. You're going to get some serious hate for it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, sometimes just like not all the basics. I mean, like internet, like getting the getting connection working properly. Get a system that actually works that could get played over the internet.
Oh yeah,
That's what
I
they
mean
need to
I
work
agree.
on most.
I don't know who did the net code for Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Whoever did that one needs to do Street Fighter Sixes because Marvel um Marvel that probably is best feature of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite because they ain't many, but its best feature might be its online play because actually I've watched a lot of matches of Marvel. It really looks great online. I mean, people are hitting their combos, and they said I haven't heard very many complaints. I can't remember any complaints I've heard people like, "Oh man, I can't hit my combos." I watch people do combo videos on each other on online Marvel, which is unheard of because Marvel vs. Capcom 3 it was the worst. Even the re-release last year, that it was still the worst. We were like, "Oh my god," it was the worst. But Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite actually probably has the best netcode since Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Oh God, no.
That
Actually,
was Street Fighter.
Street Fighter Cross
Street Fighter
Tekken.
Cross Tekken had a lot of problems, but that wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm gonna. Well, after they fixed it, let's just say that after they fixed the netcode, I agree with.
Actually, the netcode was never the problem. Even at the very beginning, the problem was that the sound would desync from the
Oh
game.
no. Here's the problem I'm talking about.
Huh.
Not even the sound. It was the rollback. The amount of rollback they did. So you would actually redo the whole entire action all over again. That's how bad the rollback was.
Wow, I never expected. Me and Jim played it, and it's actually pretty
Yeah,
decent.
that was still was what Southern California to
Seattle, yeah,
Washington.
yeah,
Yeah, and
Well, it
that was
must have
fine.
been. It must be because their internet must have been really bad or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was something because
But I
we
remember
didn't have
them
problems.
fixing it.
But and let me also say that um, let me ask you guys something. And just in case that they actually do listen to this podcast, I mean, after all, the podcast does have 27,000 subscribers, so it's quite possible that one of them may be someone that works at Capcom. What getting the basics right? That's the number one thing, right? The netcode needs to be there. The presentation needs to be there. Um, and but what do you want to see that has not been done before? And I want you to be very specific that you want to see in Street Fighter Six. It could be a gameplay feature. It could be um, something maybe outside of gameplay, maybe something to do with training mode, or what would you like to see for Street Fighter Six?
I honestly don't even know where to start.
I mean, and again, I'm gonna kind of. We're not talking about the basics. We know that the netcode needs to be
I
good
know.
and
I
everything,
know what you're talking about.
right?
That's why.
So,
That's a difficult question. It's a good question because it's a difficult question.
Yeah, it's really hard because you can't pin down exactly one thing you exactly want in it, but because you want it like multiple two things of things.
well,
Well, I
welcome.
wouldn't even say that. I won't know what I want when it comes to a Street Fighter game until it's done right. If
Right,
that makes any sense. Like
right.
if it once it's in front of me, I'll be like, "Oh, this is fucking awesome! Why didn't I think of this? That seems so simple."
But
I don't like. There's always going to be meter. There's no way around that. Meter is never going to go away. I
no,
think
nor it should be.
it, no, absolutely not. I think meter's awesome, but I want less cinematics in games. Tekken's the same shit. Tekken fucking pissed me off with that bullshit. I don't play Tekken and watch Tekken to watch the same bullshit cutscenes over and over and over again in game. It's stupid. It's stupid.
I think that's esports related.
Well,
Well,
I think it's retarded. And I don't
I
care.
agree.
I don't care if it's a game I like or if it's a game I don't like. I just don't like it.
I mean,
It's
Armika Super. Come on, tell me that's not for esports.
of course it is.
I
But you
mean,
know what? You know what game did that right when it comes to that was the Dragon Ball game and collecting the Dragon Balls because it doesn't happen every match.
right,
It can't
right.
happen every match. So when it does happen, you're like, oh shit, that's fucking cool, or what the fuck is going on?
But
I'd like to see both Namco and Capcom and anybody else that's making games at this point anymore, Atlas or Arxis. I'd like to see them go kind of in that direction.
by the
So
way,
that way it is special.
it was hype. I because I did not know what the I heard on the surface what it's supposed to do. Is what the great grant you, like it's like you hitting the genie in the bottle and like, hey, okay, I'll grant you one wish of these seven things scenarios. And but to see that actually happen in a match with what was it, Sonic Fox and Goichi, um, that was really special. After now I got a chance to look back on it and see how rare it is, and to see that happen with at the time the two best players in the world with all this with the highest stakes, right? It's a dream scenario, and they were able to hit it, and it was actually one of the hypest things I've seen in recent memory when I saw that when it was really quite. It was really quite. So I agree. I like Jim. That's a good one. Less cinematics. But, because with the cinematics, of course, it gets boring to seeing the same one thing, and also it ruins the flow of the game. So
I think that's why I think Mortal Kombat did it right. Where instead of having like a ultra move or something, you get to finish them. Like in the original Mortal Kombat, you didn't have really special moves or really ultimates or anything. You didn't have super. You just had like you'd have finish.
and the thing about it though is that there's a question like I have is like even if Mortal Kombat was a great game, how would that work in esports with the fatalities in that game?
You mean
Crickets.
in the current Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
Where
I
they're
mean,
using
it don't really matter. We know it's going to be the next one too, but but even Mortal Kombat was like really popular. I don't know how it worked in esports. Dun-dun-dun. Okay, I mean, I don't know how they're going to be able to have that shown all over the freaking on the big screen at some large gaming convention. Some Kung Lao putting down his hat like a handsaw and dragging somebody through it and cutting them in half. I mean,
Oh, my favorite were some of the original ones, like the Fendalities and stuff, and the kid, like when they turn into a kid, Baby Aldi. They're like there was a bunch of them that you could be able. They were actually fun. Nowadays, it's all about killing. Everyone has to kill, kill, kill. I mean,
I
there's
mean,
no
well, that
mix.
yeah, I mean, it was for its
Do you remember
time,
the
even though
first
we,
3D
huh,
MK?
huh,
Well, I mean,
They
yeah,
had
going
like
from
female
3D to
Sub Zero or something.
what? A female Sub Zero?
yeah,
I
Frost.
think everyone had like two different weapons or some shit. It was fucking weird.
Well, I mean, there is a female Sub Zero. Her name is Frost. I mean, she's not actually Sub Zero, but she's of the same clan, and she has ice powers too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like how there were two Sub Zeros. It was his brother in the one game.
Yeah, and it but like I said, I don't know how. You know what? I think that's actually interesting. I think that's an interesting take, Coop. I think that it maybe they could just look at instead of just focusing on the most gruesome fatality, they can find some humorous aspect that they can do that will get that will satiate the audience as they're watching the game.
Well, I mean, that's just like they go back to what they were doing before, like being interesting, being like creativity. It's like it seems like they lost that in the newer ones.
Well, I mean, its reputation was built on fatalities. I mean, the babalities and all that didn't happen to Mortal Kombat 3. You know.
Well, yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying that, like, it seems like since then it has been changed up so differently. Like every game is different, like in their own little ways. But then you think about, you can't remember some of the terrible Mortal Kombat's.
Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat 4.
Not
That
just four. There's like
I mean, not just
five,
4, but
six.
boy, I mean, yeah, I mean, and and that's the thing, though, and I think that people need to realize that in order to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. Not every one of them is going to be hits. And a lot. I'll go back to the Street Fighter world for this one, but um,
There we go.
no, if you can find a fan of somebody who loves Street Fighter 3 New Generation, let me know because I don't think they exist. Now, you will
Oh,
find some people that were big fans of Second Impact, but for the wrong reasons. Because in that game, Sean and Ibuki and Ryu, it was if that game was released today, people would be like, "This is a piece of shit," because they were broken. There's no way of really getting around that. Um, and then Third Strike. I mean, even for Third Strike, if Third Strike was released today, which is the most venerated of all the Street Fighter um, games. Um, now I have to say this because honestly, this is the day before we could patch games, right? It'd be interesting to see what how people would have reacted if they were to nerf Yoon and Chun and etc. Because I mean, there have been people who attempted it, hacked the game and tried to balance the game out, and no one paid attention, and
oh no. Here's the thing. It wasn't just that they actually did kind of patch the game in the one version, but no one plays that version.
yeah, the Dreamcast version.
Yeah.
The Dreamcast version was they call it version B. I mean, because they took out some people despised it, and this is the interesting, and there lies the conundrum. People want this is my game, and and um I don't want you changing it, even though that there are other people who like, yeah, that's your game, but your game has shit in it that is just fucking ridiculous and needs to be taken out. So then, and it's interesting though because while the Third Strike has its shared detractors who hated the game, so they released version B. Nobody played it. That addressed some of those complaints. It's like Alpha 3. People that hated that game because of the bullshit you can do with VisM combos and all of that. So they released Upper. Nobody played it.
Oh
Nobody.
yeah, I remember Upper.
And I just so there's a part of me that kind of understands why um that that this whole balancing thing, doing these yearly balances, and why I can understand why it's not as simple as it seems. People, even Capcom kind of try to play the whole, well, we're not going to try not to nerf the top tiers. We're just kind of trying to bring everybody up. I never agree. At first, I agree. It sounds great in premise, but in practice, it doesn't. If you only if you nerf no one and just bring everybody else up, then you have instead of having two stupid characters, you're gonna have 10. Does that make it a better game? I don't think so.
Like now, it's like everyone's just like like getting 70% of health to combos, and it's like it's no different than fucking playing it. Like
It'd be a
every other
Mugen game,
character.
right? It'd be a Mugen game, basically. Where everybody's broken, and I don't think that's the way to go. I mean, I still, and the interesting thing is that Capcom has proven that you can nerf a character and they still be great, even though they're not top anymore. They're still great. The great example of that is Abigail. He got some nerfs going into the season 3.5 patch. He's still he is still a great character.
Yeah, he's still winning. Didn't he just win a tournament recently?
Yeah, I
Like
mean
with
he's
Alpha?
still, and and that's like and then when they nerf Abuki's V trigger one with the bombs, people like, oh, she's useless. Nah, man. She's even deadlier now with V is. I don't know how they're gonna actually balance her. Cause I mean, her V trigger two is everything that you wanted in V trigger one and plus more. So I don't. I mean, and it's not hard. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna balance her. How they're gonna, because it's not gonna be as easy as just subtracting one move or one mix up, because there, I mean, it's all in the threads. You unravel one.
Look at what they did to Cammy in Street Fighter vs Tekken, and then look at her versus Street Fighter 4 at the time. And then you tell me Street Fighter vs Tekken, that was a way different Cammy, even though they play exactly the same,
Right,
almost.
right,
I mean, you could still do instant air, but it was controlled instant air. So it's like
right.
you would like everything was delayed. Everything, all their combos were didn't hit hard. All their damage was way lower. Like everything, you could tell it was completely nerfed. You couldn't,
Uh,
you could barely play her in Street Fighter for a second.
Yeah, yeah,
The,
and it's interesting though, because as I said before, the balancing aspect is not easy. It's not easy. It's not just removing one thread, because you remove one thread and the whole thing unravels on you. And so everything is interconnected so much that it's hard, and I don't envy the developers for what the job they have in front of them. I mean, and all you could do is do the best you can. I think that I think Alex Valle was right. Top players won't complain; they'll just adapt. And the thing about it though is, for me, I really wouldn't complain about balancing. I will complain on the stuff that is not so subjective, like the net code. That right now is trash. It needs to be fixed. Um, or or we can talk about the loading times, which you can go and take a shit and come back and it still has not logged into Street Fighter. I mean, there's other things that they can do. And again, I think that that's what they should do for season four. Don't introduce any new mechanics or anything like that. Okay, if you want to do an extra critical art or extra reverse or what have you, okay, I'm fine with that. But no big changes to the gameplay. But just fix what needs to be fixed, because at the end, just like with this input delay patch, it will generate goodwill, and you can use that going forward into the next Street Fighter game.
Getting people to play the game is one thing they could do. It was like if you get some of the people back, you could probably get them for further games. Like it's just about generating more and more. It's like just doing one is never enough. Like you need more. You need like because from what they did with Street Fighter 4, I mean this is like 6 games, and you pretty much bought the game 6 times.
Yeah, yeah.
And now people just don't want to buy new games anymore. So they're like, all right, Street Fighter 5, we'll buy that. So now they're like, oh yeah, we'll just update it for free. But then, oh yeah, here's the PC version.
Honestly, I think they're done. Honestly, I think they're done with. I don't think you're gonna pay for another version of Street Fighter Five. All the money from Street Fighter Five is gonna be purely through DLC. That's how I think how they're more. I don't think they're on planning anymore. I think that
I mean,
that's
that
it.
was just one of the good things they did. But I
Yeah,
mean, they need more. I mean, you need you need to fix some of the problems in the current game. Plus,
of
they need to
course.
do find that one thing that's gonna work. That's gonna work the six that will get people to come back even more.
I mean,
Like
people are going to
something
try
that
out
was
Street Fighter Six because it's a different game. So that part,
oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, it's more about not repeating the mistakes of the previous Street Fighter, which even on Street Fighter Five, because people have have really short memories. All the problems that Street Fighter Five has, it didn't repeat the mistakes that they made in Street Fighter Four. Because Street Fighter Four has its own issues that I have with the game, and Street Fighter Five wasn't a repeat of that. So, yeah, I mean, so now, I mean, the biggest, this kind of thing that I still think that people talk about the gameplay as Street Fighter Five's worst failing. No, I think the worst failing for that game is that it came out too early, and the game clearly wasn't ready. And
Oh yeah,
now,
it was really buggy.
yeah, and and features were not in. I mean, the the network features were bare bones. You couldn't even do lobbies at first. I mean, it was just like I'm like, come on, man, this is 2016. Come on, man, you can't be um, releasing a game that's half-assed like this, And so, I mean, honestly, obviously, I think it's safe to say that we won't see that with Street Fighter Six. It'll be a fully baked game at release, but
And watch Zelda's like, here's the alpha of Street Fighter 6. You try this game out. We'll update it as it goes.
yeah, I think they realize that that doesn't work, and that doesn't work, and because people are just going to look at that as you want us to buy an incomplete game and you'll finish it in a year, for $60, and that's not happening. A lot of people just, so I don't think, I hopefully they're not going to, they're going to revisit that and realize that even Microsoft, even this is because with Windows, it's now Windows as a service, right? Instead of a standalone product. And with this whole debacle, with the whole um, people files getting deleted shit and all that, I think Microsoft realized that they're moving too fast, and you can't just keep on adding features and all of that stuff and not properly testing it. And they need to slow down. This whole 2 years, two updates, two major updates a year, that's too much. And the thing about this, that's too much for the average Joe. I can imagine if you are a business running a bunch of computers with Windows on it and dealing with all of this shit. So I think that that you can't just expect people to buy stuff that's half-assed, half completed, and like expect them to wait a year and be happy about it. Jim, did you die?
Yeah, he's kind of dead.
Mr. Met is dead too.
Mr. Met is dead.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back, Matt.
All right, so yeah, so yeah, Kanaka Cup is this weekend. I have not watched
Oh,
a
did you mute Beeflam?
huh.
No,
I,
his mic's been muted because his computer stopped working. I think he forgot to unmute his mic, and he's just been talking this whole time. Jim?
Yeah, I think we lost Jim. I know.
no, he's
Form.
saying to unmute him. Can you unmute him?
He's asking to be
He's
unmuted.
He's asking you to do that.
Uh, how I never really learned how to use this shit. Um, but it's not. It doesn't. It show the mute box is not checked when I right
yeah,
click.
he's not muted. He's muted himself.
Yeah, he muted himself. That's what because I didn't do it.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
I
Right,
guess
I'm back
this
on the
this
phone. I'm
okay.
back on the phone. Whatever.
Alright.
This is so
Yeah.
stupid. I was trying to talk the whole time, and I was like, okay, nobody wants to fucking hear what I have to say. Fuck this shit.
Oh, wow.
We were like, "Where's Jim?" I was actually wondering, like, how is Jim so quiet? And I'm like, his mic is muted. I'm like, what the fuck's going?
No, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as incomplete video games go, that's par for the course. Did you see that thing about Fallout 76? They're already basically telling the people this game's not going to be finished. Fucking deal with it.
Wow.
Like they don't care anymore. Nobody cares anymore.
Nope.
I mean, and I think that in a way, I'm not going to put this so much on the developers as I'm putting it on the suits, because they're giving um they're giving the they're giving probably unrealistic time frames for these games to be made in. Oh, you got 24 months. Like, the fuck are you curious? Especially in this day and age, because in this day and age, I don't see much difference than making a video game as making a full feature movie because nowadays video games are just interactive movies.
Yeah.
Well, especially the ones where you just like, they don't, they've catered to the casuals more and more. So it's like the whole video game, it basically just plays itself.
Yeah, you just there just to interact. You press the button on which line you want to say, and it does the rest for you. And I'm glad there's one company that has not fallen victim to that, and that's Nintendo.
Yes, they just don't release anything ever.
That's how
Yeah,
they break it.
you know what? But you know what? I have much respect when, but to the Zelda people come on, man. Where's the new Zelda? Zelda, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. It'll be out when it's ready. It'll be out here. No, they don't pay attention. They're like, no, it'll be ready when it's ready. And there's people like, where's Metroid? It's not ready yet.
I think that's the problem with social media in general. Like, because you want to, you want to tell people when it's going to be released. So it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be released so and so and so. And then when your developers are developing, they're like, they have 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 fucking 2 years to make the game. It's like it's going to take them 2 fucking years.
But some of that with social media also is because someone will make a offhand comment, and it's not like to intentionally mislead, but like, yeah, man, it'll probably be a couple years before we see. Oh, a couple years, everyone hear it. It's going to be a couple years, and we'll see the game. And oh my gosh, that's not what This is again, this is the problem when the world becomes a smaller place. Voices are heard that shouldn't be heard.
Yeah, everything. All those. Did you see what happened with DNC and with Comics Gate and shit, and how like all these the Marvel are just like shitting on all the people that read the comics, like all the developer, like the editors. They're not even the now the art now it's like trickling down, well trickling up, because it's not just the editors anymore. Now it's just like everyone in the industry, so they could just like say anything. And now it's like Disney's catching on and they're just firing people.
Well,
They
that's
just fired.
interesting.
They just fired an artist for one of writer or an artist, whatever, for one of their comics.
Well, I know. Well, I'm not sure if this is the same thing, but there was someone from Marvel that got canned because he dropped the name of the next Avengers film when he wasn't supposed to.
No. He called everyone. He was calling everyone bad names, like
Oh, okay. So it's not
swearing
this. Oh,
and
okay.
like destroy, like calling everyone racist and like calling like saying that they're Nazis and stuff and like
Oh my
on
gosh.
Twitter. And
Yeah.
then Disney's like, "Fuck you, we don't want you anymore. You're fired."
Yeah, you know what? It's really interesting because that's the new world we live in. Even like me working at Bank of America, if I were to release something on Twitter, that gains traction, yeah, that can lead to me being terminated for the company, even though it has nothing to do with my work, or nor do I even doesn't even have to involve the bank in any way. But the fact that I work for a bank, yeah, bank is just say thank you, but no thank you. Please hand over your keys.
I mean, they're basically it's getting like they're getting because they were getting away with it for so long. Now they think they can say whatever they want, so they're getting worse.
Yeah, and now there are certain things where it's there in a in a certain way. There's no way the company can win at this. But for example, with the James Gunn situation, I mean, obviously the tweets that he made were way before he was hired by Disney to do Guardians of the Galaxy and all of that stuff. So on one hand, I was just thinking, why did Disney just say his views does not reflect our views at Disney? These were made prior to being hired, and we were not aware of it when he was hired, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I just think they could have just released a statement. But in this day and age, the people will riot left and right, and it will become a distraction. And Disney might just say, "Fuck it, I don't want to deal with the distraction."
Well, that's the thing. They actually everyone supported him, but they just need Jack for even like even after like they fired him. right away before they can even anyone could knee jerk, and no
Plus,
one knee jerk. So everyone, so it's like everyone's getting up like get like they're defending James Gunn, but rightfully so. But I mean, it's just like all these other people that were getting just knee jerk fired, and no one said anything. They just said they were terrible people and they were good for them. Like what was it, Roseanne? They fired her just for making a comment, and
right.
then like, but I mean, what about everyone else? They're
Well,
basically just so it's like it's like so now they set the standard that knee jerk fire them, and then now it's like everyone's starting to regret it because it's someone they like,
plus,
not
you also
about.
got to consider this. What if what he wrote, those tweets he wrote, what if it really offended one of the Disney execs? Then and even though it may not be directed, because so that Disney exec will probably say, "Fuck you, you're out."
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's actually it's in their contract that they can't say that stuff anywhere. Have that stuff even on their Facebook or on their Twitter. They can't. It's actually in their contract.
Apparently, it's
Like you have
retroactive
to have,
too.
like they won't even hire you if you actually said that.
Right,
So
but apparently
when
it's
it finally came
retroactive.
out,
Yeah.
but when it finally came, when it was they found out about it, like, oh, we're because his contract annulled. So basically, in his contract, it says that you can't say all this stuff on Twitter. So when it came out that he said all this stuff on Twitter, even though he said it beforehand, and it was all it was all recorded. So it's like they retroactively fired him. So
Yeah,
it's like
which
because
I
it's in his contract.
wonder. I wonder. I mean, again, there's no mention of James Gunn trying to take Disney to court or anything, but it kind of, I'm kind of wondering what his contract specifies when the deal, because obviously they're going retroactive, right? And this is years ago, so but apparently they uh, either it specifically states that it can be retroactive, or Disney thought that if they go to court, they will still win if he decides to challenge a breach of contract. Right.
Oh, I hated that whole situation. I don't think he should have gotten fired, but I still think he's a piece of fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I have no sympathy for him. I mean,
No, I don't know, but I mean, I like I said, I still don't think he should have been fired.
yeah, yeah, because you can,
He's
yeah,
still a gigantic piece
yeah,
of shit.
yeah,
Like there's no evidence that he actually acted or did anything on that. But to me, if you joke about something that many times, it's not a joke.
right.
Like you're really thinking it, and especially the fucking pedophile shit, and it's for decades. It's not just like a one-off. Like fuck that guy, but he shouldn't have gotten fired just for that. He didn't. There's no actual evidence.
And the thing about it though is that's why I think why he was terminated so quickly is because I think that it's not just a breach of contract and all that, but all emotionally. I think he offended at least one exec at Disney who's like, "Nah, man, you done fucked up,
Yeah.
and you're out. I don't give a fuck if we gotta say if we gotta get freaking OJ Simpson to direct the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. It won't be you."
Ugh, I don't know. Did you see that shit about the Simpsons?
There's more drama.
They're actually killing off Apu, the character.
What?
He's done. Yeah, he's done. He's done. They're not going to make Apu anymore because it was racist of them and all of this, and Apu was a stereotype and contributed to hate crimes or so, like whatever the fuck. Like
God.
you can't. I swear to God, you can't make it up anymore. Apu is done. Mr. Matt, I think, posted something about it a little bit ago. But yeah, Apu, the actual creators came out and said like he's done. So
so let me just point out there's something that's so stupid here is that
all of it.
It is all stupid, right? If they would have nothing but, I mean, I have to use this white, quote unquote, white characters born in America, people be like, you are not being diverse enough. So they introduce someone that's obvious of Indian descent with an accent, as you will expect of someone who does not speak English as their first language, and now it's considered racist. You can't win.
No, because
I
they didn't do
mean,
it. They didn't do it the right way in the eyes of the people that got outraged. Even though
what's
how fucking old is that show? That show's
what's the
like
right
25 years old.
way? What's the right way?
No, that's
What?
what I'm saying. Their right way is like by their specific fucking standards, which I don't even think they know what they are because they're so quick to kill their own over all this kind of shit. It's just so stupid. He's a fucking cartoon character,
Right.
and
And
they
I
portrayed
mean,
him. They portrayed him as a real person. I remember there was an episode where he was going through like marital problems, and it focused on that, and like he fucking worked through it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like it really humanized the shit out of him, and it's fucking outrage shit. I can't do it, dude. It's just too much.
yeah.
It's just tiring.
Do you have to take things so seriously? Can you take
Yes.
things at
Yes.
face value? That can you understand the word context?
It's weird. I mean, they have quote unquote good intentions. They want to be open to like all the cultures, like Muslim and stuff like that.
Which
There
I
was
feel
like
has nothing
there
to
was
do
like
with.
a community in New Hampshire. Some activists they they were having a problem with female circumcision there because like a Muslim population. So the town they wanted to ban female circumcision, and then fucking like some human rights group saying like, "Oh, you can't do that. It's their right. If they want a female circumcise their freaking babies, they could do that shit." Like fuck. Like they could openly support horrible shit like that, i- in for the in the guise of being open to other cultures. But like you can't try to understand the other side about what they're trying to do. It's so
It's just
stupid.
that old saying, where people say, I know what I like, but really you only like what you know.
In the UK, they have like 7 different cities that have hundreds of y- like girls under 17 getting raped massively. It's a huge problem in the UK. No one talks about this shit. Like, if that happened in America, Jesus Christ, we'd be having fucking riots. But in the UK, no, it just happened. They actually actively the police they didn't even freaking try to arrest these people or do anything. They freaking closed their ears to the victims, saying in the guise of they're afraid of being called racist, so they ignored it actively. It's worse than the Catholic Church. At least in that sense, it was a Catholic Church themselves moving the priest around. But this is the law enforcement whose job it is to protect the public. But they fucking just because they didn't want to be called racist, they fucking ignored actual child grooming and because they want to be called racist. It's fucking retarded. These people
Yeah,
are
it's really
insane.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not even speaking hyperbole. That's literally what's happening.
Oh, I believe
It's
it.
it's fucking
Oh,
nuts.
I believe it.
Also, have you
There was,
heard
there
of
was a
like
court case. There was a court case where they actually turned out they made him not guilty because it was racist to say they were.
Hello?
you cut out, bro?
Yeah, you cut
Oh,
out.
sorry. Yeah. Well, there was a court case where they were called they they if they said they were guilty, they'd be racist. Like they because the only answer was they could be not guilty. Can you
Also
hear
the
me still?
also the whole freaking and like Ivy League colleges, a lot of the super lefty students they try to like take down statues of like Thomas Jefferson or George Washington or some stuff like that, saying, "Oh my God, they own slaves," or they said quote unquote racist things, or novels written like 100 years ago has like one racist word in it, and so now they have to censor the book that was written in a totally different era,
I
but
mean, you know
because
what?
in 2018 they think a word is racist, so they had to censor text.
And again, people have lost the meaning of the word context. There's an old lady. She's an old white lady who comes in, and she is from the South, and she goes, "Where's that?" She loves me. When she comes in and she doesn't see me, she
Yeah.
asks my teller. She's like, "Where's that Negro fella? He such a nice boy." Da, 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 da. Of course, my the teller's like, "What did you just say? Negro fella? The fuck is wrong?" And but I understood that she's like 100 years old, and that is verbiage they used back then. She didn't say
Yeah,
nigger.
yeah.
And so so I understood, but of course, if I was some SJW, as I guess what they call it, I'd be like, death, hang this woman by her toenails. And but again, it seems that people just have no. I mean,
Well, the thing is, it's not even the black people that are really getting upset. It's the white people that are, calling them racist and hating it and all this. It's not. It's especially the white people. They're the loudest. I mean, even when you see those videos where that one girl, like, grabbing the guy's hair because or girl's hair because, or was it? Yeah, it was a guy. Yeah, it was a guy that he couldn't have those dressed up as the way he would. Like he had cornrows and stuff, and he was attacking him and like with scissors and stuff.
you know what?
He's
I have a.
appropriating his their way of life, and it's like how I mean that's like rare. But when you see like white people screaming like, "Oh, they're appropriating our culture, their culture," and it's all those white people, the whitest people you could think of, that are doing this.
You know what? It's
Like with
interesting.
Halloween masks and all the Halloween and stuff, and the blackface and stuff, and it's all white people that are getting upset. Not You don't see that many black people doing it. It's all white.
And here's another thing. Why is it that in our society now is that if there is a social political protest, they get up in each other's faces. But if someone's getting the shit beat out of them, everyone takes out their cell phone camera and just records.
Yeah. People are shitty. It's just this culture.
You give us somebody else's face about shit that doesn't matter, but somebody getting their brains beat in, you just sit there and just watch and just record and don't interfere. What is wrong with this picture?
A lot of things.
I mean, I kind of understand why they don't, because like a lot of instances, you see people try to interfere and they would get to beat up themselves all the
Oh, not
time.
even.
Like
It's not.
you
Well,
see,
no,
like
no.
you go on
It's
library,
not even that.
constantly people are getting beat up themselves trying to interfere. It's You should call the cops definitely, but like you
But
never
you know
know what
what?
these people are gonna do.
But you know
Well,
what?
if you do help them,
There's a certain sense of honor
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
involved.
It's
Yes,
true.
well,
you're taking. If I am interfere with it in a fight, I understand that I'm going to be in a fight for my life myself, but I'm willing to take that risk because it is in defense of someone of another innocent life. So I know that going in there, but now there's no sense of honor like that anymore.
there's the thing, Bunk. There were talk about that for a while about how feminists were talking about how women are not getting protected by men anymore, and they were talking about how like you have to help women at all costs, and then like a couple of years ago, not even a couple of years ago, they were talking about how men are treating women like objects and like protecting women, and it's like that's bad. And then what do you expect's going to happen when you're telling men they're worthless and they shouldn't help women because that makes them helpless? Like, what are you supposed to do? You don't win.
There's nothing you can do.
I mean, like,
Sorry, I
if
was
you
saying
do
I
help
was.
them, you're masculine, sexist, and you're like, "Roar." And if you don't help them, you're a weak incel.
You know what the problem is? I mean, well, especially with men and women and feminists, there are the women are obviously not as strong as men, and physically speaking, and um, but that doesn't mean they're worth any less. And I think that the people who are strongly feminist and they say we don't need a man to do this or that and this and that. Well, you need a man to procreate.
Do you?
Yeah. Eventually, you're gonna need the semen has to come from somewhere. I mean, it's sad. I know because of today's
I
tech.
know.
Yeah,
I know.
but you know what? It's like in these movements only serve to divide. Because at the end of the day, we need each other.
Yep.
And it's been always been like that. And when people realize that and they work and realize and they work to that common goal, then life can be good.
Easier said than done.
And and another thing though, I mean, but I mean, I learned this from someone who's a lot older than I. He when he went to church, he has he was had to do some counseling about marriages, and so he believes that the husband is the head of the household, and that women need to understand that. Now, people will be first to say that's sexist thing to say, but you got to listen to what he's saying. He says that yes, the man is the whole the husband is the head of the household. It does not mean that the wife can be mistreated. Far from it, because if a wife is mistreated, it's like God doesn't hear their prayers. That's what he tells the husbands. He says there's nothing more important to you on earth than your wife. And and I says if you guys both understand your roles in the relationship, it will work. And just because one has authority over the other does not mean that it demeans the other person or that the other person is worth less. In fact, while there is authority, there's also the what goes around comes around. You have to answer for that. So I mean, which is true in life at the work. I mean, yeah, you can become a manager, but then you realize you have to answer for other people, which is different from answering for yourself. Because answering for yourself is easy because if it doesn't go well, you don't have to look very far to see the problem. So, I mean, but we need each other. I mean that's what he tells the marriage couple. You need each other on a very basic level. You need each other. And both of you have something that the other doesn't have but contributes to the whole.
Yep.
And so hearing him listening to that because I was more of the because I mean because I was more of the yeah, but it sounds like it's gonna be a man just dominating over. No, that's not how he explained it. It actually makes perfect sense to me now. And it and but and you got the of course, like I said, you got people in the feminist movement where no, we don't answer to no authority. Okay, then it's constant arguing and etc. And then you also have men who take it too far and they're abusive. That obviously doesn't work either. But it doesn't mean that it can't work. But people kind of got to look at it that everything is important. A famous chess player once said, There's no such thing as disposable, but each does serve its own role. If you see as any, whereas a pawn or a knight, or if you see as any as disposable, you've already lost, especially against me.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so hey, now I'll step off my podium. Okay, Jim, it's
That's
your.
fine. Yeah, no, I was just once you get rolling, man, I just let you go.
Okay, I rolled out, so you're good.
I don't. I'm in a weird situation with that because I'm the only one here that's married with a kid. So like the whole needing each other, like I see it even more. And to me, it's like this isn't even a conversation. It's so like just fundamental
Mm,
more than anything else. That once you're in a situation like this, you're gonna go through ups and downs, and you're gonna fight, and you're gonna have great times, and you're gonna be isolated and separated sometimes. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody tells you or what the internet or whatever is. You have to realize, well, you don't even have to, it just naturally happens. Like you need each other. Like you have to make it work. That's it. It's not really much deeper than that. Like it's a lot easier when you're in the situation to understand the value
right.
of that. The problem is a lot of people that also do get into this situation, not all of them, but a lot of people, it's modern now, so many divorces and all that, they rush in or to get the wrong person pregnant and this, that, and the other, and it's
I
then it
mean, and
becomes a real fucking problem.
as I grew older, of course, now I understand why certain rules exist. I mean, you're not supposed to have sex before you get married. Well, people are like that's easier said than done, because and he's like that's out of fashion. But if people really did do that, like the vast majority of people actually did do that, not terribly long ago, it does cut down on the problems of getting together just because you had a kid together because of
Yeah.
one night of lust, and um it's interesting because sex is one of those things where for you you start to develop the urge way before you develop the foresight of what that urge can lead to. And it's just like it's just I don't know, it's just like I think that when sex is discovered, or when you discover that urge, is like like the ring and the Lord of the Rings is like, oh gosh, look at look at what can happen once trying to get to that ring. But um, it's always been my belief that love is more than an emotion. Love is moving. Love is an action. Love is working for it. Um, and love is an
Ooh.
attitude just as much as an emotion. Love is an attitude that you won't give up. You are the person for me. I'm the person for you. We're going to get through this. And the thing about it, though, is that we don't teach kids or even teenagers about love in those contexts. We only teach love as infatuation or erotic, but we never teach love to me in its most raw form of you know doing the right thing because no one's not out of just because you're supposed to. You're doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and it
Well,
ultimately benefits yourself and the other persons around you.
well, you're missing the fundamental thing that people like to omit from like love, like liking things they do instead of trying to just like change them. Like like that's what people get in their minds. Like they have to change the other person. They have to change them, and that's like that doesn't work like that. That's not how life works. Like you can't just change someone. Like you could slowly push them in a direction, but they're gonna go in that direction. like so for so long. It's like you just can't expect them to be that 24/7. That's why like a lot of relationships end is because they go in there expecting to be this person and they're not, and they like they're are they like friends or do you like the same things? Like that's one thing people don't mention. It's like friendship, like having things they like, people things like about them, like their weight, their height, their all that stuff. So you can't change a lot of people. You can't change the physical things about people, but you can't expect them to change their other things, aspects of their life too. Like
But
if you're gonna marry a dirty person, like they're gonna always be a dirty person. If you're gonna marry a clean person, they're gonna be always usually a clean person in general.
and
Like
but
you can't pick.
no, I'm just going to say that also you also got to consider that when you want to change a person, it's really a selfish thing because you want to change a person because then there's no conflict. But and so instead of dealing with the conflict, uh, you're trying to run away from it by changing that person so they think like you do, and therefore there wouldn't be any conflict. And yeah, and as you said, it's again working and together for a common goal and in a collaborative effort and to realize there will be ups and downs as Jim said there'll be ups and downs and you're going to get mad, she's going to get mad, but you're in this together at the end of the day. and
Hmm.
and that is the most important thing, and unfortunately we don't teach our teenagers in this day and age that type of love.
Well, they
And
teach them self love.
yeah, yeah, on a very basic on a very basic level, especially men are very good at loving themselves. But again, it's just something that's not just really being taught today, and now you wonder why the divorce rate is what it is, and the thing about a divorce is that I am work for a bank. Divorce is always messy. Even on a financial level, it's messy. Your credit's destroyed,
Everything's ruined.
and
I
you have to
know.
start over
It's no
again.
way to
And
live.
yeah, and it's so besides the emotional baggage, there's financial baggage and everything. And I mean, and again, what's the reason for the divorce? Irreconcilable differences. No, it's just you refuse to work at it, or your partner refuses to work at it, or both. That's really that's really it. It is. We're just not
There's people.
compatible. I mean, you're not puzzle pieces.
Well, I mean, you have to. You just can't expect them like Just go to some basic level, like politically level. Like one's Democrat, one's Republican. So they get together, and then the other partner tries to make the other person a Democrat, and then they don't agree on the president, the current situation of today, and then they're always upset, and then they're fighting, and then because look, Trump did this, Trump did that, or oh look at this, Hillary did this and that, and then they get one, then they're like, are they gonna break up over a freaking political debate?
Hopefully
I
not.
mean, that's what it comes out. It's like you one because the one person thought they could change the other person. They got together even though they don't agree on that one thing.
But and I guess for me, I'm one of those people where if I had if I was, I don't see myself, but if even if I met somebody and they're very special to me and we'll get married and everything, I will be the last person to argue about politics only because to me they all lie in the story.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to
But I
me,
mean, some people,
we can.
some people just take this so serious
I
that
know, and
they
it's
they make
and
it.
it and it's so weird for me to see people take us so serious because where are they getting information from? We can't even trust the outlet from where you're getting this information because they have their own goals and their own aims, and they will, and and they will. I mean, it's just I don't know. I look at the news as just a big long SNL skit.
I mean, it's just about as funny.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sad way, because it's not SNL hasn't been actually that funny in a long.
But you know what? Something that Jim said last week, and this is a fundamental issue that rarely gets talked about. But when you talk about all the problems in the country or in the world, it really, at the end of the day, who whose rules we're going to follow? Who's going to make the rules that we all live by? And that's one of those questions where that's probably the eighth wonder of the world right here.
Yeah, that's a
Because
tough one.
that's not really, that's not an easy question to answer because uh but it's a question that people have to answer because I say, and I said this many years ago. People 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 there are people who say that they're not religious. And I'm one of those people that says everybody is religious. It just depends. To me, religion is defined as a system of beliefs and practices that govern your way of life. Now, for you, your God may not be some mystical being in the air. For some people, their God is money. Some people, their God is the president. For some people, their God is CNN. And for some people, their God is themselves. I mean, it's basically whoever exerts the most influence over you.
Your Bunkei cut out.
Oh, did I? It depends on whoever has the most influence or whatever has the most influence on you throughout life. To me,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, to me that's the definition of a god because it's a force that has an impact. It has some sort of impact on you, and for and depending on the person, that force can be one of a million different things. And there is the root of most conflict.
Well, I agree with you on that one thing that like God is like a force. Like if you want to explain it in the way in that way, yeah, I agree. Like there's a force out there, and it's like you could either believe that that force is in within you. It could be in the atmosphere. It could be in your TV. You could be like you believe in anything. So if anything you want to believe, it's be
Yeah,
God.
exactly. I mean, there's no such thing as a person without beliefs. They believe in something. They don't believe the same as you do, but they believe in something. So so one hand, when people say, "Well, I'm not religious," I think that technically speaking, that's not true for most adults. For 99% of adults, they do have a religion that they follow. It may be a religion of one member or 1 billion members, but it's a religion nonetheless.
It's just like a name, another with another name.
Right. I mean, but while we're talking about this in such direct terms, now you get to the root of all conflict because at the end of the day, as Jim said last week, who makes the rules that we all should live by? Because and you'll get 100 million different answers, and therefore there's where conflict is born.
Oh, speaking of who makes the rules, I linked Jim a video talking about the music industry last century about like how there's supposedly like CIA, FBI, they like created the music industry or something to promote it's interesting. I'll link it to you. I want you to
Promote
watch this
what?
video. Promote certain ideologies. I want you to watch the video. I don't want to.
How long is the video? I mean, is this like just a few minutes, or is it?
It's pretty long.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. It's just not the music
pretty good, though.
industry.
It's pretty
It's
good.
I mean, it's
you
everything,
know,
right?
I
Hold
mean,
on, hold on. Sorry about that.
the-
What are we talking about, real quick?
we're talking about ideologies created by the CIA.
Oh, we got deep in a second. Yeah.
Yeah, music, and I'm not gonna say just music. I'm gonna say like movies.
Just say entertainment.
Those, yes, entertainment in any form has some kind of ideology backed by like some government. Because if you watch like 1920s like movies and stuff, like every one had a commercial, like a little skit in the beginning about how it was the news. That was the news back then. You basically watched a little tiny movie, and it told you what was happening in the wars or what was happening in the current government, and that was basically everyone's news. It was this little tiny little, and it was followed by a movie, like a cowboy.
Well, yeah. I mean, no,
It
it's
went
kind of
into how,
interesting
like,
that.
a lot of the I don't know about a lot, but like a couple of the really famous music artists in like the 50s and 60s, they had like relatives or dads or moms in like big positions in the CIA or FBI or something, saying like
Now, here's the thing about that.
Vietnam War protest was really like a psyops.
Now, here's the thing about something like that. Jim.
Yep.
When I was talking about the Illuminati like 9 years ago, before it became a meme, do you remember those days before it became a meme and everybody was laughing at me?
We used to really go in on that.
But no, but it's interesting.
Those are good times.
Those were good times. But when the shit comes out like this, people will eat it up, but they will laugh at conspiracy theories. I'm like, okay, so instead of calling it the Illuminati, they'll just call it the CIA.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Freemason is just, a political office.
I mean,
it's like a Supreme Court justice. I mean, you're made man.
I mean, right? It's kind of funny how this shit comes out and they call it by another name and like, yeah, see, I told you. But meanwhile, we told you about this shit 9 years ago, and you guys were laughing out of it and made a meme out of it. You made a meme out of it, and then this I find this very fascinating.
Yeah, I do too. Ah, man, it's such an easier time. I feel like that old man sitting on my porch. I'm thinking about all the
get off my
crazy
lawn.
shit we used to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, hey Jim, remember that link I showed you? Oh, this is years ago, but I think you might remember it. It was about that girl who drew. What did she do? She drew a family tree and how all the presidents but one are related to descendants of King.
Yes.
I'm like, and people are like, oh man, that's some stupid shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's stupid.
Do people not realize that shit aren't? All I tried to say, and I think that there are conspiracy theorists that go too far, but people have to understand that things aren't as random as people think it is. I mean, and on one hand, rigging an election, they're all rigged, motherfucker. Whether the Russians did it or not, I think that's besides the point. They're all rigged.
I mean, come on, the CIA, I mean FBI came out and said you're under investigation to Hillary, and then you're not going to expect any kind of downfall to that kind of turnout for her.
It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, I always tell people all the time that, that's why I get mad when people come out there. Man, you got to vote. Dude, do you know how the electorate college works? Your vote don't mean jack shit.
Well, it never used to be a problem
No,
until
it
certain
depends
people
on.
didn't get their way, and then once you didn't get your way because of more reasons, they're like, "Oh, this whole system has been flawed for years. We need to get rid of it." It's like, wait, no. It's like you got to call both sides. This whole system is completely fucked and flawed. Just shut up. Just don't act like it's a problem now because it's just
Right.
pandering and it's so fucking obvious. It really it's just exhausting. Like I'm interested in politics and keeping up with shit and whatever, but I get so fucking tired of it because it's so obvious and it's the same fucking shit over and over and over again. It's just each day you see how far the line's just gonna get pushed further. That's it.
And that's why I gotta unplug from it because it will run
Yeah,
you.
dude. That's why I stopped going into IRC completely because I'm like I'm fucking done with it. Whatever. Like I'll still talk to a few people here and there, and I'll see some shit. But I can't. It's not healthy, dude. It's not fucking healthy to think, eat, breathe that shit, and that's what happens. And that's why the social mob is so fucking scary because it's all these people. That's all they do. That's literally all they do. Except they like comment, and then they file these little gangs together, and it's like oh we're fighting for peace and this that and the other. It's like, no, the fuck you're not. It's like look at how you're doing things. Like you're a garbage human being. You are all garbage human beings. And the problem is they're being taken advantage of by a movement because they don't have social skills. Because if you actually interact with people, you would learn you can't fucking act this way in real life. But nobody has ever told them they can't because that's what they grew up with. So the whole thing is just a product of many different things, but it's just fucked. That's it.
I mean, I like what you said at the very beginning there. Is like the system when their candidate wins, the system is working as intended. When the candidate doesn't win, the system is rigged.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but it's
so
both
true.
fucking parties. It's just whoever's in charge. It's like, oh
Right.
no, oh cry about this, cry about that. It's like, no, it's just not how this works.
And at the end of the day, nothing is being done. The thing about it though, at the end of the day, I'll say this much. At the end of the day, the people that are in the Congress, they don't do their jobs as what it was originally intended for. I mean, your job is not to make a spectacle. That's what all it is. It's a soap opera that plays out. Oh, it's just like a real soap opera. There's never no end to it. There's never an end to it. It just keeps on and on. No, get some shit done that is of tangible benefit to society.
Yeah.
But you can't because of course you have lobbyists. That's the people who actually get shit done. But of course they work for the companies. And it's interesting though because see, I will have passed one law that I know that will get me shot faster than JFK. My law would be it's like if you cannot go work for a company that has lobbyists in the government after you get out of it, because it's basically a revolving door. People who come out of public office, that's exactly what they do. They go in the private sector and go work for the companies that got them in office to begin with. Now tell me, how is this fair? How is this? The government is supposed to be insulated from external forces, but it's not, and it's plainly not. When I get on these shows, these talk shows, and I'm talking about how is public financing not bribery? Well, it's not really, but let me come on, man. It quacks. It has web feet. It's a duck.
Look at every politician right now that makes 10 over 10, like 3 figures or 6 figures.
3 figures.
I can't think of the word right now. What was it? 9 figures, whatever. They make like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like millions of dollars, like Feinstein and stuff. They're making millions of dollars a year, and they do nothing. They basically just sit there in power and get people. They give people what they want. Like they want businesses. They give business whatever they want. They get paid for it, and they don't do anything.
And here is where the news come in, because the news have you engrossed in this soap opera that you don't realize, or you don't pay attention that they're not doing anything and just sitting on their asses. So you don't actually see the real problem is i.e. they're not doing jack shit for your ass. But you so in but they keep this narrative going with it. One problem ends, another begins. I mean, and it keeps you occupied. You don't realize that, dude. Wait a minute. No, motherfucker, you're the enemy.
So stupid.
It is so. It's not just
It's just
stupid.
so
It's
stupid.
insanity. It's insanity how people sit there and people come up to me on the streets and they're talking about some social issue that they. I'm like, how about you get these politicians to do the job that you vote them to do? Well, they can't do it because of so you saying that the system is not working. Well, yeah. I said, okay, then what about you worry about fixing the system? Because if you fix the system, then the issues that come out from that system will be fixed too, right? You worrying about the wrong shit.
Okay, I I heard. Did you hear about the shooting today? By the way,
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah,
in
I
the
saw the
synagogues?
Cheryl post.
Okay, like I am like I am losing my mind at this because everyone is blaming this on Trump. How can you blame a fucking crazy person shooting Jews on Donald Trump?
His
Because they can.
stepson is a Jew. I mean, he like half his
I-
family is definitely Jewish.
Oh my fucking Christ on the cross! Like, I can't understand this. Wasn't he just blamed for the bombs too? What else has Trump done? Did Trump do 9/11?
Everything.
But
Yes.
he's loving this. He's loving this because when he runs for re-election, he's gonna bring all this shit back up.
He already won. It doesn't matter who runs against him.
Right. Which yeah, but he's gonna bring because his whole platform is the system is rigged against me. Oh my,
Bro.
you know that they're gonna he's gonna
If the
run.
Democrats lose or like they don't win enough, and on November was it
6th. Oh, dude, that's what they were going to
all
build.
of that shit is gonna be tame compared to what the fuck they're gonna do if it didn't shit doesn't go their way.
It's gonna be so good.
I mean, I'm not Republican. I'm just
No, you're common sense. Like I'm the same way. I'm not Republican. I'm not Republican at all. Like it's just common sense. Like all this is common sense. I always thought I was like really liberal. I always thought I was like a really liberal person, and I haven't like changed my values. But as I've gotten older and time has changed, like all of a sudden I'm looked at as like a far right or a right leaning person, and I'm like, no, I'm literally exactly the same.
Plus,
Like, I haven't had radical changes at all.
I don't
Tim,
understand.
I'm center. I've never been left or right. I've been center, and I get looked at like some crazy.
Can we talk about this for a second? Can we talk about this for a second? Because up until 3 weeks ago, I didn't know what left or right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know what left or right meant.
Okay.
Now I finally find out what left and right meant. How do people use such a broad brush? Because you say it's conservative or liberal, but you could paint all brush, so someone could be all conservative, but wouldn't that depend on the issue?
In theory.
Not because someone may be. I guess if you're for abortion, I guess that will make you more on the right side, right?
Oh no! If you're for abortion, then you're on the left side.
So right side is I'm getting confused already.
Yeah, right side is conservative.
Oh, right side is conservative. The left side is liberal. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, let me tell you real quick, just to jump off that. I didn't know where I could fit that in. I saw a video that showed a 20 week old baby in the womb and all the movement and all that. Like I don't know, dude. Maybe it's because I have a kid, but if you can do that, that's murder. That is a living being. That's fucking
it's
murder.
Always been a living.
You're a piece of fucking garbage.
You know what? I completely agree. And
It's
I
like
said it.
you know what? If you want to take birth control, that's cool. You know,
You know
like
what?
stop it before it even gets to that point. But like, if you let it get to the point of the 20th week, or like even before that, like I don't know, like that's a fucking person.
It is a person.
That's an actual
It's a
person.
person,
Like,
and you know what? And
it's
we've
so
talked
fucked
about
up.
this on the show all the time.
I know.
I am about 99% against abortion, except in the cases where the mother's
Rape,
life is in danger. You know,
Oh, agreed.
I
or
mean,
she
what
was raped, or
I
she
mean,
was raped.
and like even like okay, I'm gonna put this very carefully because I want people to misunderstand me because people have a fundamental loss of context in this country when something is said. Even in cases of rape, I'm not exactly in love with the idea of abortion. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that because watched documentaries where they talk to women post rape who did keep the babies and those who didn't, and it's not so cut and dry that just because you aborted the baby, it does not undo the rape, or it does not necessarily, even and not necessarily because you kept it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being raped all over again. I mean, I've seen it both ways. Some women have kept the baby and they've regretted it, and some parents have kept the baby and they love the child even despite that it was conceived without their permission. You know, but that's going. But I won't go out to abortion. To sit there and argue whether it's a child or not, you know, it's still a life. And the thing about it is that this argument about rape slash mother's life, they use that all the time, but most of the abortions are not in don't fall in those categories. So it's a so it's a straw man's argument.
Yeah, it's
And
not even most. It's like
right,
99.9%. So
exactly. And so I don't know the percentage, but I'm gonna guess that it's higher than 90%. So and the thing about it though, now I will say this, just because I don't agree with abortion, now forcing it on someone else, that's something totally different. And something that I would never do. Because at the end of the day, I'm not God. So I am not, you do not have to answer to me on what you do. Now, with that being said, though, there have been cases of abortion, and although it never almost gets no coverage, but there have been cases of abortion where the father wanted the child and the mother didn't, and the father's right was overruled. And I think that's bullshit. Because
yeah.
like she says, it's my body. Actually, no, we're not talking about your body. We're talking about the body that's growing in your body. There is a difference.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about one time in IRC. Like that's the thing. They don't care about the fathers. It's like they just get the whole thing. They're like, oh, it's the woman's choice.
No, and the
I mean,
bullshit is the
sometimes.
woman's choice. Father means life giver.
Well, I mean, no, but I mean,
Yeah.
they defend it. They defend it in her. They, I mean,
Right.
in legally
Right. I
from
know
it's
you're not
her,
saying it. I know
her
you're just
choice.
quoting it. Right. You're just quoting but I'm just responding to that argument. And like it's bullshit. It just as much the father it is the mothers. It just it infuriates me. I guess as a man that does not stand in court. Oh, it only becomes a matter when it comes to child support. Then all of a sudden you're the father. You're the one that made this right. It takes two to tango. But all those arguments go out the window when the father is trying to preserve his son's or daughter's life.
Well, Ben, it goes back. We've gone full circle. It's what we were talking about earlier. It's acknowledging we need each other and that we really are equal with women as men. And unfortunately, people don't see it that way. And legally, in these kinds of cases, they will never see it that way. We'll always go to the woman.
I mean, it's just fucked up. It's
No, it totally
incredibly
is.
fucked
I
up.
completely agree.
And I mean, and then related. I mean, and we talk. I mean, we talk about how women are treated in society, and there's definite discrimination. But there's also discrimination that goes the other way. Just like when we talk about that teacher who giving her students blowjobs, not only does not get any jail, she keeps her teaching certificate. Now let that been a man. Let that been a man.
Well, I mean, they did a study. I was talking to this before about in Sweden. Now they did a study where they moved everyone's sex and gender and name from their job, and they found that more men were hired once they removed their sex from and their name from the actual application. That means more men were not being hired for jobs because they were men.
Yeah, I mean, and it was just, and I mean, and here the thing though is that again, rules are not applied uniformly. When you think of pedophile, you don't think of a gorgeous blonde woman in her 20s, but that's exactly what she
No,
is.
you think of like the
Creepy
30,
guy in the van.
45 year old
Keep a
creepy
guy in the
guy
van that gets charged
with
with
the
bombs.
glasses.
Yeah, but
How dare you, sir? Some of us can wear glasses.
No,
right,
but that's
right.
what they showed. Remember they showed a picture of a pedophile. It was someone with the glasses, and it's like
Right, but
Well, that's racist.
I mean, but and this girl, this lady
this
is
is
a
the person that's wearing
pedophile.
glasses right now.
This lady is a pedophile, and you know what? What's even worse is that she can literally probably tell this 5 years ago as a joke, and people will laugh.
Do you guys remember the whole parent the the what the fuck is that shit called? The Planned Parenthood controversy.
Which one?
The one
Yeah,
where they had the
The when
fetus
they the
parts.
hidden camera thing when they found like body parts and shit.
what? What?
Oh,
Wait,
I thought
wait.
you were going to talk about the one where they have quotas for abortions.
Oh.
Well,
Oh yeah,
wait,
yeah.
That's a good one too.
wait. What?
Yeah.
Someone had like a hidden camera. They went to Planned Parenthood. They found like body parts of babies and stuff like that. They were selling body parts. The whole argument against it was retarded. The video was real. That shit was actually happening.
Oh, I think I remember
People
that.
just like
Oh,
arguing that he shouldn't have done that or some shit. They're claiming like it was been edited or something. No, it wasn't. It was fucking real. There was actual baby body part they were fucking selling.
Matt, they didn't
Fucking
just see
retarded.
the parts. They admitted the doing. They were make a proposition for them to buy the body parts,
Yeah.
and they
I
get a
remember
camera and
that.
everything.
I'm like this. No, 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 no. Let's stop here. This is happening on U.S. soil. This is not on a movie. This is not some country in some backward country. This is in the U.S. I remember that. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I was, I was horrified. Now I remember that. I don't have any words to describe what we witnessed with that hidden video.
Yeah.
It's past disgusting. It's past wrong. You're selling parts to it with, but well, selling parts for anybody is fucking disgusting to begin with. But for a fetus, come on now. And that happens
Daily.
daily. Yes.
It wasn't even in the news. Like no one reported it. It just happened. No one did it.
They're
Also,
silencing
aren't
you.
most Planned Parenthood aren't they located in like city areas where like it's all mostly minorities? So it's pretty much, it goes into that stuff too. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean, because because now this is one of those things where when you are when you're local on the social lower on the socioeconomic ladder, they take advantage of that. Yes, I mean it's just like liquor stores. Do I find liquor stores out in the rich white people neighborhood? No, but there's one on every block in yeah, because of course they understand that when you life sucks, you tend to drink. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they are in mostly minority neighborhoods. Meanwhile, at the neighborhood high school, they'll pass out condoms like they're supposed to do something, which is another one of the oldest lies ever told in modern history.
Did you hear about the ones where they give out needles too now? This
but they've been
giving
doing
out
that in
needles that
Seattle for like 20 years.
Yeah.
more and more places
They
are doing
they
it.
started doing that in Vegas too. They're like safe injection sites.
Nice.
They're like vending machines basically. So
Sick.
and son of a bitch, are you serious, Jansen? You mother.
Please.
Okay,
Fucking
okay.
Dorian.
Who's this?
That's Jason.
Oh, Jason. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Converse.
He's watching baseball, so we're gonna be in the middle of a very important
Oh
topic, and he's
my
just gonna yell "fuck."
god.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, hold on. I wasn't that bad at the bar. You guys are exaggerating.
What are you talking
What
about?
are you
You were
talking about?
screaming and
We weren't
yelling.
even. I wasn't even talking about the bar. I wasn't there.
Oh, that's right. You got. Oh, okay. I need a recap. So you guys met up, and how'd it go?
It was okay.
Nobody got pregnant.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, Coop almost like knocked over a table.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would have been
Yeah.
good. That would have been very good.
Yeah, around all the baseball memorabilia and stuff.
Are
That's
you
all
on a
signed baseball and
walkie-talkie?
shit. Kind of.
Oh, because it sounds like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, I have like bad reception up here. I'm in like La Quinta and fucking Dallas. So
Oh, en La Quinta.
La Quinta.
La Quinta. La Quinta.
How long are you in Dallas?
I'm there for 7 days, and then I'm gonna go visit my cousin and see their kids. So just do both at once. Yeah. There's supposed to be like a crazy Halloween party because everyone's all dressed up and shit. But like,
Okay. Another Illuminati thing. Okay. Okay.
The Halloween is Illuminati?
Did you
wait? Halloween's Illuminati? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. You know what?
I'm fucking with them.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question. So which one of you have Netflix?
I do.
I got Netflix.
Did you guys get a really kind of messed up message from Netflix about 2 days ago?
What?
I haven't
No.
logged in. My wife uses it.
Okay. Let me read you a message that I got from Netflix.
Was it the Illuminati though?
You tell me. And I'm not making this up. I swear this is my brother. This is a letter.
Wait a minute. Did you take a screenshot or take a picture of it?
I don't have the email. I can, oh yeah, that's right. I can just open my I can just open my ass. Hold on.
Oh, my phone's dying. Nice.
Okay, so let me I gotta close my porn windows. Hold on.
You always have that open.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna turn it on, folks. I'm gonna turn on so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna turn on the screen share. I'm gonna show you taking my email. I'm gonna read you exactly what it says. This is the email. I forwarded it to my mom because I'd like you so she can see it. This is what the email says. This is from Netflix. You can read up here. It's from Netflix. It says this: Dear Benji, your presence is requested at the dark baptism of the teenage witch Sabrina Spellman. Join us as we gather under the eclipsing blood moon. At the stroke of midnight on her 16th birthday, bear witness as Sabrina signs her name to the book of the beast and begins her journey on the path of night, just as the Dark Lord intended.
Dude, wait a minute. You got that message?
I was just watching Sabrina right now. I just watched
Yeah,
that. Just finished that.
That's a TV. Yeah, that's a TV show promotion. That's supposed to be really good.
I know where it's from. First of all, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It was originally a comedy. And obviously they are taking it a completely different direction. Because this does not sound like a comedy to me.
Oh no,
that sounds bad.
Yeah, you're right. And this is all. Look at this. It's all black and everything, and like your presence is requested at the dark back. What the fuck is this?
Literally, that's what happened at the end of the season.
Like who?
Yeah, it's from the makers of that Riverdale Archie show that they made really gritty and depressing and dark, kind of like a Nolan film. So it's the same people who did that.
Don't you guys find it just a little bit creepy?
Oh, it was totally creepy. But that's what I liked about it.
Oh, okay. All right. We got one that's already He already joined. He's going. He is going to the Big Owl in the middle of California. He's going. Yeah. Okay.
The only thing I didn't like about the show was that they kind of made him like look like Goss, and it's like the stereotypical Goss, and they're like all makeup and shit on, like really over makeup. I'm like, nah, I wasn't digging that part, but all the saying in it is like okay. Like,
kind of reminds me of. You remember that movie, The Craft?
Yeah. It was basically
famous last words. Satan and all that in there. It's all right. Okay.
You just like the music I listen to, right?
Oh man. Oh, okay. I got that. I'm like, I thought somebody hacked my shit or something. I'm like, I'm getting emails, and I'm like, who's? They must have signed me up for some bullshit. I was like, but nope, that is from freaking Netflix.
Speaking of which, I just saw the commercial for that new Exorcism movie. That looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna watch it. That Hannah Grace one. Did you guys watch that?
What?
No? Yeah, there's like a new Exorcism movie.
Are you serious?
Well, it's not from like the Exorcist thing, but they do another Exorcism like movie.
Oh no, I'm way out of the loop, dude. I don't hear much about.
Oh yeah, I just saw the commercial like minutes ago. It's like crazy white girl gets possessed by the devil and like shit happens. So I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, I mean you're watching baseball, so I could get why you would be seeing commercials. What sucks is though, like when you like I watch some Knick games and some Ranger games still, but all the streams I watch, like it's the league pass, so you don't get any commercials. So it literally is just silence in between whatever you're watching. So I have no idea what's going on as far as what's being promoted or what's not being promoted.
Oh, dude, the thing that's crazy is like during the World Series, like the commercials, a lot of it's political. Like,
of course,
I've been seeing a lot of Republican ads and like no on this, yes on that, and I'm like, yeah. So it's like watching the ball and everyone.
I love those commercials. I love
it's on Fox.
I love those commercials.
Yeah, it's on Fox.
They
have to take advantage. It's the only real major market share they're going to get everybody to watch it.
I love
everything else.
I love those commercials. I love the negative commercials because I just love the Dean Rossi. He killed 24 people and never went to jail for it. Is this the man?
And he stole his hamster.
It's just fourth grade. I'm like, oh my gosh! It's just, it's so retarded. I'm like, oh gosh.
Ben, you should apply to be an ad campaign person for a political party because that's spot on, dude.
I mean, it's just. I could never do it because I could not get to the lines without laughing out loud. I'm like, I can't believe you have me read this bullshit here. I'm like, really? He killed 24 people? Come on. Is this the man you want represent you in Congress? I don't think so. Meanwhile, vote for the devil. The devil. Been there since the beginning.
Paid and sponsored by the devil.
I approve this message.
Man, goodness. I mean, but it's just interesting how they're looking at Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. But this is not Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, because that was I watched a few of those episodes when I was a kid. It was a comedy. It was like mischief.
That explains a lot. That show was a weird show, dude.
But
My
it was
little
like
sister used to love that shit.
Yeah,
but it was just like it was a goofy.
Yeah, it was goofy
show.
There's someone's already seen it. Told me, "Oh man, you just seen the aunt kills the." I'm like, "What the fuck? Someone gets beheaded already at the beginning?" Oh no! See, I'm like, "What the fuck is this? This is not Sabrina Teenage Witch that I remember."
Oh, it was dumb. It was starring the girl who did the movie with the guy from Entourage, and neither of them are famous anymore. Fuck, that's gonna bother me. I gotta look it up. I can like see the what is Melissa Joan Hart, right?
Oh, her. Oh
yeah, she does like
God.
Christian. She does pro-Christian movies now.
Serious?
Yeah, like I think there was her latest movie was one about like the battle over Christmas, like because everyone says Happy Holidays and it pisses off Christians. She was on one of those movies.
Why would
It's like,
dude. Okay, I had it. That's the movie I was thinking of. It's called Drive Me Crazy. I took a girl to see that movie when I was
actually
like 15 years old.
I remember I remember that particular show, the battle over Christmas. Christians are getting angered. You're angered about a holiday that's not Christian, but I digress.
I think. Wait, wasn't the story like that? There was a townsfolk that didn't like the fact that you had to say Happy Holidays and it pisses everyone off, and apparently said, "Well, first you say that, then you take away Santa, then you take away Christ, and yeah, or something."
Even though that Christ has nothing to do with it. I mean, you know what? It's kind of funny though because I'm like, man, I love how they have programmed society at large. This is someone did a study. I gotta find it. Someone did a study about how much debt would disappear if people would not celebrate Christmas. It's stupefying. It would be stupefying. It was like people can pay their home off 12 years earlier. I mean, it was like someone just, but I forgot where I found that. Oh man, it's great because I watch it at my job all the time. People like, oh, here's Bank of America Visa card, greatest holiday card, 0% interest for the first year. Yep, and it just as it come out of 0%, it's already Christmas again.
Now, is it just Christmas, or is it Christmas, Hanukkah, all the other holidays
It's not
celebrated around that time?
Don't be silly.
Jim. Jim's all against Hanukkah.
Did you see?
I'm not against Hanukkah. The Jewish parents, they just give their kids whatever they want year round. They don't wait. They're rich as fuck.
Hanukkah's like a dreidel and like a couple items.
Yeah, Hanukkah's your humble time.
Plus, Hanukkah is actually actually biblical. That event actually happened. Whereas Christmas, I'm still waiting for someone to show me Christmas in the Bible.
Well, I know that Kirk Cameron made a bunch of videos about that.
Is
probably Davis
Roman.
I mean, there's no reference to Jesus ever celebrating his own birthday, ever. Not by him or any of his apostles. And I would think that if it really was a thing like they try to say it was, there would be at least one mention of it. But I digress.
Now, during the Roman times when Constantine.
Now, future Republicans are going to use this sound clip band against your campaign someday.
Of course, Benji, against Christmas. Is this someone you want representing you in Congress? He is the Antichrist.
Those are simpler times.
Meanwhile, Lucifer being there since the beginning, we will fight for what is right. Because after all, he defines what is right, what is wrong from right.
To party.
Oh my God. No, but yeah, you're right. Actually, Mr. Matt, you're completely right. It was Constantine who was a pagan sun god worshiper, actually, who came up with the idea of Christmas.
Sounds like a son of a bitch.
He was actually quite a bad man.
Yep.
But he became a Christian.
No. They just made the Christian audience become pagans. That's all. There's actually the opposite. That's why all the famous holidays have no Christian origin, but they just put Christian faces on them, like Easter. I'm still waiting for seeing some rabbits that give that lay eggs.
They don't do that.
Okay. veganism. No. I'm trying to divert from the way we were going about the Easter eggs. Well, anyway, veganism. Yeah. That's a whole religion in itself. Actually, that's like, but people just like think of like the worst things about it,
No,
like
but you
or
know what?
the propaganda about it.
But no, for me, it's not about propaganda. So for me, like Christmas, it's for me personally. I don't need a holiday for me to give presents to anyone, and I'm certainly not to give out presents at a detriment to myself. And unfortunately, it's not about giving. Giving is something that is done freely. It's not done freely because if people be like, it's an expectation for it to be done,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. I
so
mean,
so the whole
that's but to see that's the thing where it becomes like a tradition versus like sometimes tradition goes like into people like way worse than anything else. They could like like begrudgingly do it like over time. That's why people start to dislike things because it's like, oh, that's tradition. Like when Seinfeld did that one episode with the poll. You remember that?
I never watched Seinfeld, but you're gonna have to.
Okay, where they had a poll and he's like, instead of actual airing some grievances and everything, and they would like and they go around the poll and like talk about things they don't like about the person.
Yeah, it's called Festivus.
That was a good one.
For the rest of us,
Festivus was true. Definitely true.
But but it's one of those things though, is that when I will definitely not give at my own detriment, and I'm watching what people do with their finances for Christmas. It completely fucks up their finances, and people don't realize it. But if they were to add up all the money they spent on Christmas gifts and save even just a portion of that money, they'd be surprised how much better off they would be. And people,
But isn't it also helping the economy and the stores
No.
that rely on?
no,
No.
that's another lie.
well, that's only helping businesses. The
Exactly.
businesses
It might help
there.
businesses, but it's not helping the economy because eventually, I mean, you do run out. you know, everything. I mean, it's not finite resources we're dealing with. Eventually, it run, and then everything collapses.
Was it Peter Schiff talking about how the whole Americans need to spend more for the economy to be better was like a myth?
Yeah.
He was saying like if people spend it smartly and save more, it will be a lot better.
Yeah, if people were to spend smartly, spend less, and be more selective, it actually would mean um that wages will actually increase because the point of it is that the products that would need to be produced will have to be of higher quality, and the services have to be of higher quality. There'd be more investment into making sure that it meets those standards that are set by consumers. It would actually be a great benefit. But as it stands right now, we it's just like a smorgasbord, and people just eating it up. It's just like overeating.
Yeah, but a lot of people. The problem is that businesses know. I mean, they already got so much buying data on us and all of that. Where Black Friday rolls around, they know what percentages or they know what to kind of entice people to buy. So it's like, okay, you can not spend, but here's this whole new TV that you've always wanted. It's 50% off or 35% off. It might be gone. Hurry now. And just people can't, they can't resist. They just have to do it. And I'm a hypocrite too, because sometimes I, go on Amazon and I see deals and buy shit that I shouldn't be buying.
Mhm.
But yeah. And also, I gotta say that the Dodgers bullpen is bullshit. What the fuck, man? Shit.
Wow. Wow.
I haven't watched 1 minute of the World Series.
I
Well, I'm glad because Well, actually, you wouldn't even care. You hate both these teams, so.
No, I hate Boston way more, but I just don't give a shit. I just don't give a shit. I stopped really watching sports. Like California, only sport I really watched was football. But that's it. The NFL went to garbage. The NBA has been garbage. The Mets are always going to be garbage. And then there was the Rangers. The Rangers would be the only team I really watched. So I don't know. I kind of got out of it.
Speaking
So
of
are
which,
you introducing the New York sports teams to your kid and all?
No.
did you guys hear about the hail coming tomorrow for LA?
What
The
now?
hailstorm and shit.
Like HE double hockey sticks. So
Good.
So all 5 of the major sports teams are having home games tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Oh,
yeah,
should be a true goat.
That's gonna. I'm like,
Well,
man.
in Los Angeles, they're not really fans. They'll show up to the Dodger games instead because the Dodgers are in the World Series. The only other team in Los
the
Angeles.
Lakers games too, right?
Well, actually, they still haven't fucking won a game, so that's questionable at best.
Hey, two wins, bro. 2 wins.
Who have they beaten? That's any good.
They beat the Nuggets, which is decent.
Okay, well, who else did they?
Oh my god, I couldn't even keep a straight face for that.
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh shit, who the fuck did they win? Oh, the Suns.
See, no one cares.
So they beat.
No one cares. It's fine. It's understandable. You got to understand that outside of Los Angeles, nobody gives a fuck about the Lakers. And even inside Los Angeles, if they're not good, if it comes this time next month and they're still this bad, nobody's going to go to the games.
Actually, I think a lot more because the tickets it'll be affordable. The tickets are crazy. Like, I went to try and look for a game, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like 3 times. But I'm like, that's a LeBron tax, so.
But by the way, I mean,
yeah.
I know that probably people are not really paying attention right now because it's still a few weeks out. But the Rams do play the Chiefs, and that might promise to be They might promise.
Well, the Rams are doing well. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. They play the
John
Chiefs.
Gruden the true goat?
Man.
Oh yeah, we're tanking for draft picks, man. Tanking for draft picks. $100 million tank. That motherfucker.
He got you guys good.
But you know what? And of course, up here, I can't stand the Seahawks love because, like I said, I was here the year before they went to the first Super Bowl, and I could not pay someone to wear a Seahawks jersey. Now it's like Blue Friday, Blue Monday, Blue Wednesday. I'm like, the fuck is this? But anyway, I pointed out, I'm like, but the Seahawks, or the Rams kind of remind me of the 2013 Seahawks. Great running game, a decisive quarterback, and a nice offensive line, and a really underrated offensive line.
By the way, we just lost. Fuck this team. Fuck.
You lost?
Florio just
the Sox.
Son of. Oh my god.
Are you serious?
Fucking really? You're gonna throw that type of pitch? Oh yeah, of course.
About the pitches now.
Hey Jim, did you?
What?
I didn't show Jason that video of that dude that threw that underhanded pitch. I have never seen a pitch like that. That pitch was GOAT. I don't understand how he can throw it that low to the ground.
It was magic. All right, I gotta enjoy the suffering. I'll turn the game on too.
No,
enjoy the suffering.
Oh,
my
Red Sox at Dodgers. Is it over already?
Almost.
No, we have one more inning, but they're gonna bring in Krimble, and that's usually
Krimble.
GG,
Right?
so.
That's a horrible last name.
It's Kimball.
Whatever. I hate his fucking guts.
Listen,
I know. I know. I hate him too. He played for the Padres.
Listen,
and he played for the Braves. I hated him when he was on the Braves. Then I had to support the guy when he played for the Padres. and then they traded him to Bomston.
There's never been a successful last name of Kimball anywhere.
Kimbrel.
Kimball?
Well, Jason and I both got it wrong. He said Crimble. I say Kimball. It's really Kimbrel.
Oh
Hi, it looks like you're using ad blocker. Please turn it off. How about you go fuck yourself? I'm not going to do that. Let's not say ridiculous things.
Love that. I love that.
If your stream isn't playing, make sure you have Flash enabled. Okay.
So Ben, let me ask you: if the Rams win the Super Bowl, and you see Stan Kroenke there celebrating, would you be hella salty, or are you just gonna be like kind of proud, or what would that be like for you?
So am I physically around Stan Kroenke?
No, you're gonna watch him on TV, obviously, and he's gonna be like doing his speech like all owners do, and he's gonna raise the Super Bowl trophy, and yeah.
I would still stab him 34 times if I ever saw him in real life.
Oh, that's a good thing to put on the internet.
Yeah, you can put that. Yeah, you can put that in writing. Yes, if I ever meet him walking down the street,
to put it in writing. Your voice said it.
Okay, I'm gonna type it too. If I ever see this motherfucker, I'm gonna stab him 34 times. Sorry, let me recant that. 33.
Why 33 instead of 34?
So Bomston is up 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Man, that's not good.
Well, no shit.
I feel like Norm Macdonald.
See, Stan Kroenke didn't just betray St. Louis. He betrayed the state of Missouri because, after all, he is a Missouri native.
He's a Missourian. Right? Is that the word?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, he's a Missourian. And so listen, there's an old saying, don't ask what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. In this case, what I can do for my state, my home state, by stabbing this motherfucker to death.
Well, I thought you didn't even care about the Rams anymore.
I don't.
Yeah.
But
you can't start pretending because they're good again.
I must avenge the loss to death. I must avenge the death of the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, dude, there's no death.
You should do that by hoping that the St. Louis Rams never win, or the Los Angeles Rams never win a game. That's how I would do it. If my team left my city, I would curse them.
But it wasn't
that, or you can support the Seattle Seahawks, which is your city team.
I would quit that sport.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
You done fucked up.
Yeah.
How dare you say that I support my fucking enemy? A division rival?
Well, technically, the Rams aren't in St. Louis, so they're no longer your team, right?
Yes, my team is dead.
Well,
there's the St. Louis Blues.
He doesn't know. Ben doesn't even know what the blue lines are. Come on.
I haven't paid attention to the St. Louis Blues since Gretzky was on the team.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was like before DFL was even born.
I mean, there's a lot of things before DFL was born.
Thank you, Jim, for reminding me how old I am.
Yeah, you're old as fuck. I'm right up there with you.
Like, damn. The Rangers won
1994.
Yeah, before DFL was born.
Yep. And I remember watching that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
Tupac was alive.
Well, I mean, if we have to trade off those two things, I'm happier than we're in the present.
Damn.
That's my old school New York. You'll never leave me. Fuck Tupac. Fucking private school ass looking bitch. Fucking poser ass bitch. Fuck Tupac. He's a fraud.
Man, fuck Alex Wood. What the fuck, man? Really?
Who's Alex Wood?
He's one lefty, 3.68 ERA. God damn it.
Oh. I thought we were talking about rappers still. I was like, who the fuck is Alex Wood? I'm like, that's a really corny name for a rapper.
I just had an epiphany. Blue Flamingo shot Tupac. Yes.
No.
Wouldn't be surprised.
What room was it in, and what did I use? If you're gonna go full detective, at least do it like Clue.
I'm still working on that piece. Give me a couple of days on that.
Hey Jim, so Real Madrid, man. What's the next step, man? Do we blow up the team or get rid of some players, or what do you think is gonna happen?
Well, you know what tomorrow is, right?
Yeah, El Clasico, and
yeah. So they're gonna lose that game badly.
And
the manager's gonna get fired.
I thought is the manager not fired yet? I thought they were.
Oh no, he's not fired yet. Oh, he's done though. They lose tomorrow. He's fired.
Yeah, but who's gonna replace him? Like
Antonio Conte.
Conte from isn't he Chelsea? Or no?
But they'll buy him out. They have a good relationship. I don't think it's a smart idea, but that's what they're going to do. They're in trouble, man. They're not good.
They're like what? They're like what? Number 7 in the table.
They don't care about that. They just care about winning the champ. That's the only trophy that matters.
Right, but don't you have to be top of your table in order to get to the Champions League?
No, you could finish in last place, but if you win the Champions League, you qualify next year.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep, that was a few years ago when Chelsea won. They knocked Tottenham out of the Champions League, even though Tottenham finished 4th, and Chelsea finished 6th, I believe. But since they won the Champions League, Tottenham got fucked on. So they didn't make it in. So it doesn't matter where you finish as long as you win the league. Oh, yo, damn, no, not like this.
Ah, shit! Really? Fuck! Oh my god!
Well,
it looks like I'm not going to see the Dodgers. I'm not going to see the Dodgers win a championship.
No,
before
probably
I'm
not.
dead.
You'll die.
That's
first.
it.
You'll definitely die first. It's okay.
It's done. I blame Magic Johnson. Fuck you, Magic Johnson. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't understand why Magic Johnson's looked at as a hero. Like, he fucking cheated on his wife, fucked all these bitches and got AIDS, and they're like, "Oh, we love him." It's like, what? Can you imagine that modern day? Everyone would hate Magic Johnson. Imagine he gets Me Too'd. Me Too'd by the guy he fucked to get AIDS. Oh God, I would fucking kill for that story.
That would be awesome.
I would kill for that story.
Oh my god.
Roberts, what are you doing? Are you acting like a fucking manager now? God damn it!
Please.
Oh.
I turned the game off. I don't give a shit. I don't know, Bunkei. What else you got? Bunkei.
What's that?
What? What else?
Oh, how about this for a topic? Or I did early voting already. Did you guys doing that, or gonna wait till the 6th, or what?
Oh, voting?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what the best part about voting is? I didn't even.
I'm piecing out. That's some fighting words. I'm piecing out.
What the best part about voting?
He asked who we voting for. That's offensive.
No, I said if you guys voted. That's it. I don't know who the fuck your representatives are. I don't care.
That's a loaded question, and you know it.
I don't know anything about what's going on in Washington. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, you mean with all the AIDS outbreak and
Yeah, the people that are walking around and stepping on needles and getting AIDS. That's a great place to live.
That's not this in Washington anymore.
That's in San Francisco too.
Yeah.
That fucking third world city.
Typhus.
It's not the San Francisco anymore either.
Yeah. Los Angeles.
What is it, Portland?
World
Oh.
city.
Like all the parts, other parts in California and Los Angeles and other states. Now New York's gonna be up there soon.
Oh yeah. So Dodgers are gonna lose the World Series. This sucks. I want to see
It's that's Boston. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's Boston. I mean,
fucking hate Boston.
The only team I hate worse than Boston is the Dodgers.
So it works out for you then.
Yeah, I know.
You know, that's on my hate tier list. The Dodgers are not even 10.
But I'm a Giants fan.
Wait, that's a good discussion. What's your hate sports team tier list? Like S tier?
Well, you gotta go by sport, man. You gotta go by sport.
Baseball, or no?
Okay, so obviously, there's what do you think number one is? This is Mr. Matt knows this.
Number one, the Cardinals.
No.
No?
What are you nuts? No.
No, Cardinals are like the 10th at best.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about the goddamn Cardinals. Fuck them. Fuck them. They're definitely in the top 10. No, not the Yankees either.
What? Philly? The Phillies?
Yes.
Philly maniac. Oh God, those fans.
I would say Philly's my most hated. The Braves are the second most hated. Washington's third, only because they're just fucking losers. Actually, you know what? I hate Miami more than I hate Washington. So I would go Philly.
Really, Miami?
Yeah, you want to know why? Because in
2007,
because
of like the whole stadium deal
no. In 2007, we missed the playoffs. In a one game, we had to win it to make the playoffs against the fucking Marlins.
Yep.
And then you know what happened in 2008? The same goddamn thing against the fucking Marlins.
Yep.
That team had nothing to play for either of those years, and then they fucking flaunted it and they talked hella shit. Fuck Tom Glavine. Fuck Johan Santana. Oh God, I'll get mad. So anyway, I would go Atlanta second.
Wow.
Miami third. Washington. Yeah, it's over. It's over. Good game. Boston after that.
Oh fuck.
And then the Cubs. And then the Cardinals. And then the Yankees.
I'm actually surprised the Yankees are that low, but
we play them 6 times a year. They're not real. I don't know. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the actual team. Like, you know what I mean? And then I would put the Dodgers after that. So maybe the Dodgers. No, you know what? Actually, I hate the San Francisco Giants way more than the Dodgers. So
okay, it depends. Which are Giants?
Yeah, but no. The Yankees really just they don't bother me because they don't affect me.
That's actually kind of funny. Like how I'd rate probably the Dodgers highest, and then it goes down by the Braves, then not the Mets. No, actually, I didn't mind the Mets. Only when they played Giants, though.
Yeah, we're fucking losers. If you go out of your way to hate the Braves or Phillies fan, then what are you doing? It's like we're fucking trash. Like, why would we have no reason to be hated?
Wait, what team were you always? You're always a Mets fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The only time I always see the problem that I'm like always been a Giants fan. That's why I can't be a Mets fan.
I get it, man. I get it. Yeah. I don't know. Fucking 8-4.
Shit. I like how he changed the channel of ESPN and put on their ticker on the bottom, like, hey, it's 8-4. Like, no shit. I'm trying to not watch that.
Oh, that grown ass man was crying. Are you serious? Why are you crying? I love agony. Keep crying. Oh yeah. The only thing that can make this better is if the Dodgers come back and then they show the Red Sox fans grin. Oh, don't act like
Dude,
have
you seen how they played in at Fenway? They look lost. Like they literally was getting fucked up. So, yeah.
Oh well. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. Freaking Dodgers. Then again, I'm not expecting any of my other teams to win championships anytime soon, so I don't even know why I'm.
Yeah, who cares?
You only that one chance a year. For the Dodgers.
Now they have to. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're probably gonna have to get rid of a bunch of people. Machado's not gonna sign. He only signed for 1 year. So is Dozer. So I mean, yeah. Let's go and spend a lot of money again and then fail.
All right. Oh God.
Wait, what's this?
I keep going to Twitter to try and find new things to talk about, and I just keep finding things that just make me very sad.
Well, I'm looking at MSNBC. It says Trump touts falsehoods ahead of midterms.
Yeah, let's focus on that instead that somebody just killed a bunch of Jews today.
Let's talk about how they're trafficking kids through the caravan, and no one talked about it.
Oh yeah, what's going on with the caravan thing? I know. I think I saw in the kill stream they have a GPS website or something that tracks where it's going and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, considering that the only thing that's covering is the Fox News, and it's so funny that everyone else is reporting on those fake bombs.
So okay, we got.
Was it fake?
Listen. Let Ben talk. Let Ben talk for a second.
No, I was gonna say that when we come up with show suggestions, we need to kind of lighten the mood. We need to find at least one topic.
We need a closer, a good, positive thing to talk about.
Oh, you know what? We need to talk about something that's really important to Ben. That's not piano, but it's something positive about him. Go on, Ben.
What?
We're gonna talk about something positive about you.
Okay. I have come up with some tips on how to level your head game.
Okay, I have a better topic. So this really famous soccer player. This is really hard. His daughter was born overnight last night at 3 a.m.
My daughter?
No, the really famous. Well, he's not really famous, but he plays in La Liga in Spain. Oh. His daughter was born at 3 a.m. He had a match at 11 a.m. He didn't sleep, went and played anyway, and he scored a fucking hat trick. He scored 3 goals on the day his daughter was born. That's fucking cool.
That is cool. That is cool.
That's cool. And then he skipped the interviews and immediately back to the hospital. That's what you like to see. That's good stuff.
So can I continue with my topic?
Really no, I don't.
No, Ben, I was joking.
No, I'd rather hear about the Red Sox again. I mean, it's the same thing.
I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, I'm on the show with a bunch of men, and no one wants to talk about oral sex. I don't understand this.
I don't get to talk about I don't get any sex. Mm-hmm. I'm married. I have a kid. I forget what that even is. It's not even on my brain anymore.
You know, I think you should go to counseling. What is it? I think you should go to counseling because that is a
no, it's not even like a thing. It's like there's literally no. No, trust me, there's not. It's weird. Because we tried when the baby was sleeping a few times, and then the baby wakes up.
Oh.
It makes it very difficult to want to continue to try that again, because then all you're thinking of baby. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Crap.
So Ben,
Crap for you, Jim.
Lucasfilms killed the Boba Fett movie. 100% dead.
Good. They should kill all future movies.
There were so much bad things that they're doing nowadays. It's like you can't equate them out. That I hope that everything they just cancel everything.
You know what? I'm ready for Star Wars to go back to purgatory.
You want to give it back to Lucas?
You know what? If it stops the
He
movies,
means in between, like nothingness, like nothing. Like just stop talking about it. Like stop making movies about it. Stop.
I don't think
trying to sell it.
I never thought in my life I would ever hear myself say that, but I'm on board with Jim. I'm ready for it to just to go back.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just
Just let it die. Just die. So your Canada Cup 2018 Street Fighter V top 8 finals matchups. In winners, you have Tokido versus Fudo.
Mm-hmm.
You have Zhao Hai versus Justin Wong. Justin Wong made it winners. Wow, this game really is trash. Losers. Mago versus Hai. And
Mago
Punk
versus
the
who?
God versus Fujibura.
Wait a minute. Mago versus who?
Hai.
Hi.
Hai.
You don't know who Hai is?
How you spell it?
Haitani.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I meant.
Haitani. You didn't say the entire name.
Yeah, Hai.
Man, the Japan out in full force.
You got 1, 2, 3.
Well,
4,
that's no surprise.
Five of the 8 are Japanese. 2 Americans and 1 Chinaman, Mr. Zhao Hai.
What about Tekken, Jim?
I don't know.
Wow.
So I don't think they actually are getting the top 8.
I actually have
tomorrow.
a serious question besides the head game.
Oh God.
So, do you think that Bandai Namco is going to do anything about Soul Calibur 6 and the custom character?
No. That's been like that for years.
They had so many bugs that they never touched.
They don't care. Oh my God, Speed Kicks was playing Steve. Fuck this. Fuck this fucking game. I'm so old. I want to go back. I just want to play Tekken. At least Tekken Tag. Tekken Tag 2. I'll be happy with that. So Canada Cup. Tune in now to catch the top 16 for Canada Cup. Okay, so do any of you people actually have results though? You dipshits.
So, then my last question before signing off is,
Cuddlecore made winners top 8.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that.
Oh, that's interesting.
What happened?
Cuddlecore made top 8 winners.
Oh,
in Canada
Cuddlecore.
Cup. That's interesting. Anyway.
What I mean, even though Jim, I know you hate the game, but if Capcom were to announce a character at the end of Canada Cup, which about be a year to the day almost, when they gave the tease for Sakura, what character would you like to see them tease?
Peppa the Pig.
Peppa the Pig. All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining. What about you folks?
I don't know. I don't have any interest, dude. Like, I just don't care. There's nothing that's gonna get me into that game. And in Tekken, it's the same thing. I want Peppa the Pig to be a crossover character in all of those games.
Peppa the Pig.
And then just not Soul Calibur, because I can't deal with the Peppa the Pig with the fucking 48-inch dick. I can't deal with that. It's too
Four
much.
4 feet.
Oh man, that would be someone's birthday quest.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. So let's keep Peppa the Pig out of Soul, and we'll put her everywhere else.
Wait, so do you guys know the sales of Soul Calibur? Like, is Namco basically making is it surpassing Tekken?
I don't know about that. I don't know. Soul Calibur 6 sales 3 days ago.
Have any of you guys watched the Castlevania Netflix series?
Yeah, it's good. I think the new one's supposed to be coming out soon. The new season, or maybe it's out. I don't know.
Maybe I should watch that.
But it's I think the first season's only like 5 episodes, so it's like, yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay, this has given me nothing. I love how I search for very specific things and the game tells me basically go fuck myself. Okay, that's good.
Damn you, Soros.
Well, no, you can't say that. Soros just had fake. Oh man, a disastrous opening in Japan. It only sold 24,000 copies of PlayStation 4 in Japan. Yo, get
what?
Fuck.
24,000?
Of what? What did they say?
Soul Calibur.
Ooh.
Wow.
That is no bueno.
That's beyond. That's going beyond.
Oh, okie dokie.
No, I was
That,
so sorry for you Soul Calibur fans. This shall be
Super
banished.
Mario Party, which was 2 weeks older, sold 36,000. And Soul Calibur sold 24,000. Call of Duty Black Ops sold 95,000. That's to be expected. Dark Souls Remastered sold 14,000. Jesus.
Hey, Ben. So on Twitter, there's a couple people talking like if Capcom decides to do Marvel 4, one, do you think it's going to happen? And two, should they do it?
Yes,
it will happen, and it will happen in like 2 or 3 years.
Yes, I think that the smoking gun is that Carmel Fiend works for Marvel. That cannot be a coincidence.
So are they gonna try and do like a half-ass attempt, like
No.
like Infinite?
No, he probably, if anything, he'll persuade him. I mean, start from scratch.
But there won't be any X-Men characters, right? Because of the whole licensing thing.
Which the deal is finalized in January, so that should not be an issue.
Lego DC Supervillains outsold Soul Calibur.
Wow.
Nice.
So no, I expect X-Men. I expect that the next Marvel game will prominently feature the characters that people are come grown to love. I'm sure Magneto and
Wait,
Wolverine.
the Dodgers scored.
Yep. Homer and nothing.
Oh, they did.
Sick. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
The first reply for that Julia Eof is pretty good.
Oh yeah. She literally hung out with Richard.
And it's funny, she's like a political writer or something, and she knows Trump is like huge on Israel, everything. She's still saying that shit. Like, what the fuck? It's like like easily fucking researchable, and you fucking say this dumbass bullshit. So stupid.
Oh man.
So Jim, I couldn't get you anything from audio, man. But
I didn't want anything. I hate those people.
I like how you guys are in the same industry, man.
I hate them.
Oh no, they have to be the most. Well, maybe I can't say too much because they're my clients, but they're pretty challenging to work with.
They're
Attendees.
horrible human beings. They're my coworkers.
Yeah, I like it when he said, like, dude, I work for this recording studio. Yup. So does everyone else here.
Yeah. Suck a fucking dick. Nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. It's so obnoxious. Oh, man. All right, fellas. I think we're winding down here. Enjoy the rest of your baseball. Ben, you got anything else?
Have a happy Halloween, guys.
Yep. I think Bunkei is talking, or maybe he's. I don't want to.
He doesn't want to talk.
Well, hold on. Let me
about
show
anything besides that.
So I'm gonna turn on the camera so you guys can see.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What? Fine. Fine. All right, then I'll pack it in. Yeah,
We need a soundboard.
yeah, you know what? That's what we do. We need a soundboard.
Oh,
We're
I
not
was
looking to
gonna
let
do
you control it, Ben. Sorry.
Yeah, I have to control the soundboard, clearly. All right, we'll work on that. We'll work on that. I'll figure out how to get it.
All right, so, folks, that is it from us. Thank you for listening in. And damn, people are already exiting off. I'm trying to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's Jason. Jesus.
The hell,
Jason
dude.
pulls out.
The hell, man. Fuck you then. Okay. Anyway, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and for all the views that stuck with it. Is there anyone even listening?
I am.
Oh, okay. Okay, folks.
I think we lost him 5 minutes ago. Jason came in, and then we all started the tangent so hard, and like no, it was just like awkward 30 seconds of silence, like all over the place. It got really bad.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay.
But
Well,
this point, we did it. We made it.
we made it. All
3.5 hours of just dribble.
Thank you guys for listening, or I'm sorry, whichever one applies.
Both.
I promise that the next show will be
will not be the same as this one.
Will be exactly the same as this one.
No, it will not be. It will be slightly different.
It'll be slightly different.
Oh shit!
But the
single.
Same. No, God, please. All right, we're going to bed now. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.